Where we come from, we each fight for loyalty, for freedom, or perhaps enlightenment. But not here. Here we cast aside our disparate beliefs, our barriers and preconceived notions, and band together as a global force to engage in the largest competitive battles the world has ever seen. We are the squads, the platoons, the empires and servers, full of players coordinating a complex game of strategy and tactics. This is where combined arms happens. This is where war comes to play. This is ServerSmash.
Hello everybody and welcome to another ServerSmash. I'll be your main caster today. My name is Farah and today I am joined with...
Good evening ladies and gentlemen, I'm Melson26, Lord of the Stats and one of Dig's top men.
Top man.
Top.
So today is ServerSmash 57. We are playing our second semi-final and this is with Miller versus Cobalt. So I'll just bring up the map. Oh no, not again. Okay, so when the machine freezes, the tilde button doesn't work. And when the tilde button doesn't work, I can't bring up the map. Anyway. I'm going to restart the stream. So anyway, the point is, Mail, why don't you tell us who's playing, what the factions are, where they're on the map, and I'll just restart my PS2 and we'll get it going.
Alright, so today, guys and girls, we have NC as Miller today, who are in the North Warpgate, Northeastern Warpgate to be exact. And we have Cobalt playing as TR tonight at the Southern Warpgate. So the usual standard affair. If you've been watching and playing ServerSmash, you'll probably know the Hossin map like the back of your hand by now. It's going to be a tough fight, and I want to see who gets an Ace of Defiance this time.
Yes, the capture mechanics, as we were mentioning earlier today, I suppose, in the Emerald Briggs game, has slightly tweaked in that. Rather than just 3-point large bases, such as Nason's Defiance, being able to be flipped by any team on the last second. Now, all bases can be flipped if they're neutral third faction at the last second.
I think it's pretty trolly, actually. You can put in so much work to get the 6.5 minutes to get the base, and then someone just goes, nope, we're going to take it off.
Well, that's why you don't put any work into it. You have to play the new meta. You have to do everything with the least amount of forces for dead weight and dead population, because while I won't spoil what happened yesterday on the particular ServerSmash game, one of the key problems was dead population for breaks. They had too many people at the wrong place, not the wrong place at the right time, just being where they couldn't be, entirely effective.
Indeed. And it's all about the tempo play in ServerSmash, as you were saying earlier this morning.
Yes. Okay, so here we are, guys. This is Hossin. We have the NC on the Eastern Warpgate. That is Miller today. They picked the continent by being second seed in the tournament, and they also picked the faction, not Warpgate. So as a result, they picked New Conglomerate, and Cobalt picked TR on the Southern Warpgate. So that's where we are here today. And as we're looking at the base, there are actually, compared to Amrish, a lot more neutral territories that can go. Like Wainwright Armory, it isn't the old system where when it gets down to the last second and then you drop at the last moment, and then it's 2 minutes counterflip. No, it's 2 seconds and then you take the base. So I think we'll see new tactics at Wainwright Armory, Broken Veil, Ixtab Power Reg in theory, though it's not as easy to drop on the point as Veil and Wainwright Armory is. Ixtab, water purification, Southern Pass, they're non-contestable bases, so interdiction is very hard, especially water purification. Substation is kind of a defensive sort of inner base. However, run-in as a YOLO infantry, grab the point, you take the base in a few seconds, and it's the same with Nethermire Garden. So there's so much going to be going on in the opening play here. How the force commanders choose what to send, where to send them, and then play it slow on base caps like Nason's Defiance, But the other thing is, Ixtab Amp Station, it also can be stolen at the last minute. So if when it starts ticking down, right, it will go in 7 minutes. No doubt about it. The question is, who gets it and how?
Well, exactly, yeah. And I mean, the last match that we had against Briggs and Emerald, Briggs was saying that they had loads of plans in place for each base and each intricate timers and stuff like that, and it just fell to bits. So I'll be interested to see how the servers adapt to this as well, if they have their best laid plans destroyed by the other server. So right. I wonder if Ixtab's in anybody's plans today.
So some of the interesting facts as we're coming into this tournament.
You there, Farrah? Wondered if you went dead then. Oh.
Be a bit of I wonder if there's going to be a desync here. Right, we'll check this in 2 minutes. Anyway, so as we check the standings, Miller is actually an extremely strong team. Oh wow. The standing statistics, Emeralds in 4-1, I guess that includes the semi-final game. But Miller played really, really strongly. And when it came to the semi-final game, they were underdogs, at least in my view, against Emerald, and they won really, really well. I mean, they powered through and got a dominating victory. However, Cobalt are the defending champions, and on top of that, they are the only team to have defeated Miller this season of ServerSmash. So I think that's us back. Right, we'll just check the audio syncing in a second. I've boosted your mic volume, you should be fairly loud, but if you need more, I'll check that in a sec. So anyway, as we go back to the map here, we'll have a quick look at the kind of the opening play in the beginning. Nettelmire is an exposed sort of large tree base where both teams have equal access from the north and south. Eastern Substation is a base for the south to cut to the ziggurat, but mainly it's a construction site between Genesis Terraforming and Brava and PMC large outposts. Access to the amp station is equal in terms of water purification and Southern Pass, but it's not instant. They have to get access to this particular base. Moving into Ixtab power regulation, that is a neutral base for both teams to go, and it can be flipped. The north definitely will not want Woodman ASC to be messed with, so their focus may be heavily on Ixtab amp station. Nason's Defiance, we've seen many times now on Hossin, is that it can be stolen as any other base, and usually it's very short, sharp fights, especially in the north and the southern capture points. The third one in the centre is not necessarily an instance. Broken Veil, due to the nature of the capture point so far away from the spawn room, usually is captured quite easily and can be counter-capped many times, and the flow of the fight going from Akan Southern Labs to Hurricane Secure Storage. And Wainwright Armory, due to the natural open exposed area, we can see perhaps in this game particularly that teams don't necessarily dump Sunder's vehicles and dig in for the 4-minute long haul. They might actually choose to avoid Wainwright Armory and only come there in the last 30 seconds or so in the particular game. And then finally, we have the Sharps Run Edgewater Overlook, probably the weakest base for the north and strongest for the south in terms of push potential, because Sharps Run is so defensible. The flight times from the south can get to Edgewater before the enemy on the north can get to Sharps Run. And just due to the natural vehicle ingress points and how you can deploy Sunder next to the cap point at Edgewater. So that's kind of a brief overlooking on the bases on the map. Do you know how much tempo play? Do you want to talk about tempo play at all?
It's a new concept to me, actually. I've not really been that involved in the actual playing of things. I've just been a grunt and play. I've not been involved in much of the command structure, but it seems like when I was watching the stream yesterday, it was very apparent how the tempo play comes into play, so to speak. So you go into one base, you prepare the next one, get that ready, going on, and so on and so on and so. I think these two servers, I think Miller, I could be completely biased here, hashtag Miller biased, but I think Miller might be the better sort of stand for this kind of play.
Right. So the way that this works, that Emerald does it in the last game when against Breaks, and also how Miller did it against Emerald themselves. Emerald were this team that probably much brought it up or made it. Is pressure on multiple lanes all the time. So you never abandon lane. You pressure lane all the time. And if you build, if you're going, let's say you're trying to attack Sharp's Run, and it's a 4-minute base capture. If you get 3 minutes into the base capture of Sharp's Run, and you get pushed off, you then have 3 minutes of tempo in Sharp's Run, because the enemy can't attack you at edge war, but they have to stay at Sharp's Run to keep it defended. So you're essentially forcing them to have dead pop at Sharp's Run. You then have 2 choices and 3 minutes to either come back to Sharp's Run and punish them if they leave, or alternatively, maybe Wainwright Army is taken down by a separate force and you can go there and doubly reinforce. So now you're outnumbering the enemy because you have tempo play in Sharp's Run, allowing you to take Wainwright Armory. So it's that type of tempo play included with force multipliers such as sunders everywhere, and maybe an air force overhead. It pressured out over the whole map is what basically kind of is the difference between good servers and great servers.
Yeah, that's right, and those that master that kind of play will win. It's just apparent, and Emerald have been leading that kind of play. To everybody's regret.
Yep, I'm just going to do an audio sync here. My clock says 5 minutes, so I'm going to see that on the stream when it's actually up, just to make sure we're all good here. So, in terms of the game plan, we've got a few minutes here to talk about it. If you're Cobalt, right, and you're coming from the south, you have a natural advantage slightly on the western flank, and you're slightly weak on the eastern flank. What is your game plan? How are you going to play today? What's going to be your opening moves?
Tough question. I'd personally, if I was leading the TR, to try and secure the middle and take advantage of any possible advantages I've got at the sides, at the sort of northwest. I'd say the southern eastern lanes are a little bit of a dead weight because you've got Murloc Tech Plant there, which is quite defensible, and Genesis Terraforming, which again is quite a defensible base. But if you are managed to able to secure the middle, so pushing up to Woodman ASC, getting into a can, maybe not taking the can, but at least getting to it, and securing Moss Ridge, I think that would lock down the whole centre, and that would let you take Ixtab pretty easily as well. So that should give you enough sort of territory control to, bring it towards you. But who knows? Could be any way. Could be any way they do it. So apparently Farah's got some bit of sound issues, so I'll continue talking on. So the tournament has been pretty well. There's been a lot of big, epic sort of.
I whispered
gaps.
you to talk about the NC. Sorry.
Oh, did you? Oh, sorry. So the Miller today, then NC. I personally don't know what they're doing because I've not really been involved in their command things or anything like that. But I'd imagine they do what they always do, which is
maximum pressure, maximum lanes.
Maximum pressure, being very quick, best response. So
no quick reaction force, and basically helping your adjacent lane probably.
Yeah, exactly. I know there's some very decent outfits out there today. I think 252 and Cons are playing, and they work very well together. So, who knows?
Right, well, we'll play our last intro video, guys, and then we'll be back for the Warp Gate and for the opening. We've got 3 minutes until match start.
On our home servers, we claim allegiance to different factions, playing to measure individual skill, for the reputation of our outfits, or simply for the glory of battle itself. But we have longed for the spectacle and exhilaration of massive competition. Hundreds of players facing off on a level playing field to determine who will reign supreme. On this battlefield, players from around the globe stand together in their combined might as servers to participate in the ultimate expression of teamwork and the largest competitive events in gaming. The tactics from live server play will likely get you killed here. Organization and communication are key. Victory is seized by quick-thinking commanders and agile and creative squads. More than their individual skills, you must rely on your teammates to band together as a cohesive force to drive the enemy back. This is Planetside, the way it is meant to be played. Planetside Battles ServerSmash Tournament 2015.
We are 50 seconds away from match start. Final predictions, and Mail, what do you think the final score will be today?
Well, I was bang on not last night, this morning, should I say, with 75-25, but they got cut off, so I was denied that 25%. I'm predicting it's going to be pretty close, I'm hoping at least. I'm thinking maybe 65 Miller, not too sure. It's hard to tell.
You're thinking a Miller victory today. I mean, you have to favour the seeds because they got to pick the air hammer of NC and they got to pick the continent that they like most, which is Hossin.
Of course, then, yeah, it's without a doubt Miller. It's Hammer's OP, I'm sorry to say. Radar, if you're listening, nerf that fucking thing.
Okay, well, here we go, guys. 10 seconds. This is the semi-final. Number 2, Miller versus Cobalt on Hossin.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go, go, go. Match start. Good luck.
We are live and the flying off has begun, and it's very important at the beginning to get a clean start. Don't get any accidental TKs, and also you have to get to your bases as quickly, especially on the western flank if you're north from Miller.
Usual fare at TR as well. They seem to be pretty spread out actually. They seem to go for a multitude of targets, not concentrating on a particular one. A lot of them seem to be going for the western flank, so Edgewater area.
I wonder if many are going to go to Wainwright. That's the interesting thing, as you were saying, or whether or not they'll keep a reserve in the air, like both teams.
It looks like they're kind of split. So it looks like 20 SM Mozzies are going for Edgewater and another 20 going for Wainwright.
I'm currently watching the large Reaver force heading directly for Edgewater. Actually, this must be 1 or 2 platoons worth of Reavers heading for Edgewater.
Oh, that's interesting. A few have dropped at Iron Key. About 5 or so people. Maybe they're getting Sunders in.
Sunders to move up to Wainwright? That could work. Question is, how effective that is if you go for Wainwright. Do you only send 5 people? Do you get the Sunders and the vehicle set up, the infrastructure and the thing? Because it's an aerial cap point. Anyone could drop on it, if you know what I mean, and then interdict.
Well, I've just seen them drop at Wainwright. They've only dropped 3 people on a 4 mosquitoes coming in.
Oh, we had a dropper go straight for the anti-air terminal at Edgewater Overlook. That's I guess smart. I guess there's not really that many Reavers, however. Sorry, mosquitoes to combat the Reavers.
I'm a little confused why TR dropped on Wainwright Armory Point. They've got an open capture point right there that they need to take, and they're not doing anything about it.
Well, 1224 for Cobalt on Wainwright Armory. You can see the populations, possibly Air Force, whereas the NC has gone hard for Edgewater, and check that, Sharp's run is ticking. So I believe Miller's western flank play is to go really, really hard on Sharp's run due to just the difficult nature of it, and maybe come to Wainwright later because they've got nobody there. Miller's gone for Broken Veil as the opening play. Check Ixtab power regulation. It was 48 plus on both sides, so we'll check that out. Water purification, Southern Pass both ticking, and Easton's ticking down, and so is Netomar more in Cobalt's favour.
I'm just having a look at power regs.
Have a quick look at Sharp's run. I'm going to head to power regulation.
Lots of galaxies, NC galaxies above power reg at the minute. Miller dropping in really hard on this. Definitely populations count as actually updated yet.
It's Miller's Air Force, Miller's Galaxies, and Miller's Sunders that are currently over Sharp's run. Right, I'm heading to power reg.
Pretty same story at Ixtab power reg as well. Miller's on point, but TR nowhere to be found. Miller's got the good old NC scat maxes out. Locking the points down.
Wow, yeah, so lots of proxy galaxies, air hammer outside. A GSD Sunder actually is set up underneath the base, inside the shields. Wait, no, take that back, it's dead.
Well, I'm looking at this and I don't see any kind of opposition from TR at the moment.
Doesn't matter, they don't need to come in now, they only need to come in the last second, right? So I mean, I couldn't. Well, they don't have the spawn room immediately, so they have to fly back in. And the problem with Hossin is galaxy access from terminals is quite difficult. The south has a slight advantage because they have the tower base of Cairn Station. To be seen how this kind of plays out here, but it looks like Miller's big plays for Ixtab Power. Maybe to push and pressure into Gurney Dam. You see that Nason's Defiance isn't even ticking down at all either.
Cobalt have been very sneaky. I can see it because I'm on TR side. They've got a cloaked Sunderer in the northwest, right next to a big tree. I think they're going to use that as a very last push.
Ixtab Power Reg?
Ixtab Power Reg, yeah. It's near the massive great tree overhanging all the thing and just a bit behind. It might be able to spot it.
See a beacon. I mean, I'm watching this, but at the same time, this is 1:17. Eastern substation is 1:02, and that's equal numbers. So I'm going to go to Eastern.
I think it's a done deal at Power Rig here for the NC.
Okay, so Miller's in control of the capture point at Eastern Substation, but this base will be captured. It's not a back and forth. It's whoever has the point at the last moment. TR are outside of Cobalt. Looks like they're bringing a Battle Sunder. Yeah, they're bringing a Battle Sunder in. Twin Fury coming to the point. In terms of the building itself, NC from Miller doesn't have any adjacent spawns other than the rear, so the TR from Cobalt could push in here and take it. All they need to do is grab the capture point for a few seconds.
They've got 3 people on top of the point at Eastern Sub. Cobalt do. It's quite funny.
It's getting a bit too close here for the Cobalt. I mean, Cobalt can continue the fight. It just means that the Miller gains control of the spawn room.
Yeah.
And with 10 seconds to go, Cobalt, there's so many of them outside. Yeah, they're not going to have enough time.
Not a chance. Yeah, not a chance.
The runtime isn't enough.
There goes to Miller. GG.
Yes, that's base 1, and that's Vib. And Warp Purification flips Ixtab Power Reg. What, is that flipping? Ah, camera, move, come on!
I believe it is.
Oh, is Cobalt going to steal this? No, no it's not. It's still stable, it's NC. I thought it was flipping for the briefest of seconds.
They had a few people on it. I've just seen a few dead people on there.
So that was a very close steal.
Yeah.
I mean, with like the last 5 seconds.
They've got multiple Sunders underneath, that's how they got in.
So Power Reg is captured, Nation's Defiance is ticking down, Broken Veil, Miller's play and the beginning is going. Wainwright Army didn't actually start ticking, no one's actually moved the point on Wainwright Army, they're ignoring it. And Sharp's
wrong, 30 seconds left.
Yeah, so Broken Veil is the next base to check out. It looks like the opening plays currently is going in Miller's favour are not Cobalt's, in that they're getting the first couple of bases.
Well, this is what I was meaning about adapting your opening plan for these kind of scenarios.
Thing
So
is,
it's quite clear that Cobalt's plans failed now, so does that mean will they recover? Will they adapt?
well, yeah, because Miller made the play for Eastern Sub and Broken Veil, but we can see that Nettelmeyer was actually captured by Cobalt, and they've now done a back cap on Ziggurat. Only a small number, but it's still a nuisance because there's a lot of dead pop at Nettelmeyer, and unless they can make a quick cap at Ziggurat.
I can see all the dead bodies at Sharp's wrong. Cobalt did attempt to go back onto the point, so they did try, but they all just got wiped.
So now that Sharp's run is captured by Miller and allows them to then apply pressure to Genudyne holographics, which by the way, another cap mechanic, they need to at least get the thing ticking down, otherwise they're being counter-capped. It looks like Miller is... No, it was Cobalt that started the cap on Wainwright Army, now Miller's turned up, so it looks like there was 1 or 2 forces. The original plan was to go for Sharp's run, and the secondary plan is now to go for Wainwright.
I think, if you just look at the map fire, I think what's going on right now, says everything. Every single base on TR's front has a cap going, except for Iron Quay.
And Ziggurat is counter-capping, so that's going in favour of Cobalt, but Genesis is under pressure. So this is what I'm saying, tempo pressure play. Gurney Dam is under pressure, Hurricane Secure Storage is under pressure, Nason's Defiance actually can't be messed with at the moment. It's very interesting. The enemy can't do anything because of Gurney Dam, although theoretically Gurney Dam can be saved in time for them to do a steal in Nason's Defiance. Ziggurat is being saved, so Ziggurat is the only offensive base currently. Wainwright Armory, however, is still a base that Cobalt can make an objective play for because it is exposed, it is open, and Air Force can make a drop on the point. Anyone can steal it on the last second if you drop enough bodies on the point.
I'm just at Genesis now. Cobalt are making a valiant attempt to go towards A point. They're probably going to get A point back, so it's going to delay them a little bit. Yeah, they're definitely got A point back. So I think Cobalt may be able to secure this one.
Well, we have... So, at Wainwright Armory... Oh, is that a harasser? It is a harasser on the roof hilltop at Wainwright Armory. Oh, Canister, trying to get some kills. He bails! What are you going to do now? Ah, not enough. Okay, so the high ground above the capture point, Beacon, Max, and Galaxy in control by Cobalt. 2 minutes to go. Miller is approaching from the eastern approach. Cobalt has the western approach and has the capture point. But importantly, as we keep saying, it's only a few seconds to the point. That's all that matters. But it's the Air Force right now is all Cobalt.
And Genesis is pretty much taken back by Cobalt. They're just cleaning up now, which is good for them. But Ixtab is
no, Genesis is fully ticking down now. Genudyne, apologies. Genudyne is now fully ticking down. There's absolutely no Cobalt defenders. All of the Cobalt force is playing heavily into Wainwright. So if Miller steals this, it's brutal because there's such an overpop. Cobalt has to take this base, and then the question is then what? Do they then go back and make a tempo save and Jenny down holographics? But it means they're losing so much time on cap time on holographics, buying for this Wainwright capture with this overpop. I mean...
That's right, and Genesis as well. Genesis is a done deal, so just get those guys elsewhere. Move them on. But they don't seem to have that kind of mentality at the minute.
Well, yeah, you have to... I would say you need to match 50-50. If the enemy starts downsizing, you match them in downsizing, but you never abandon the base until it's fully saved.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, they don't need that extra 20% pop there. It's just not needed.
So, the question is, knowing what you know about this cap point, and knowing that you can't get to the base, right? So you can't get from the Sunder, you can't run there on foot, although it does look like there's a couple of Miller on the outskirts. Oh wait, no, they are outside. They're dropping now, the Galaxy drop. So they did. This is what I'm saying. Are they going to come with a Galaxy drop? And they have. They flipped the point at 30-second marker.
Wainwright, yeah.
Yes, this is a Wainwright Armory. They flipped the point. They've got it control at the last moment here. Well, not the last moment, but close enough. With 25 seconds to go.
That's top notch. That.
Yeah, it's top men were just dropped. Air Force has come in, and
I want to see which one numbers are top men on it.
I think it's Miller's Air Force has just dropped. It's just a general call for reinforcements. Miller's played this well, and the fact is, what does Cobalt do now? I mean, they're losing Hurricane Secure Storage. Nason's Defiance 2 minutes 20. However, Nason's Defiance can be stolen. This is the important thing because Gurney Dam is in Cobalt's control. Cobalt is counter-attacking Ixtab power regulation. Ixtab amp station is ticking down with no contention, although it can also be stolen by Cobalt. Genesis terraforming is being partially, slowly captured by the NC, and Nettlemar Gardens is being attacked by the NC, and they're currently pushing it at the moment. So Wainwright Armory is captured by Miller. Genudyne holographics low number, so it looks like the forces that were at Genudyne dropped and redeployed to Wainwright Armory, including the Air Force. Hurricane Secure Storage is captured. Now the question is, do they counterattack at Gurney Dam? Do they redeploy to Nason's Defiance? Because there's got to be a Nason's Defiance plan, right?
Ixtab Power Reg.
And then Ixtab Power Reg is the next one as well. And then I guess tempo play for Miller-wise, you can defend the control point at Wainwright Armory, and then you apply pressure at Iron Key. Balance the pressure between Genudyne graphics and Iron Key, and this is the problem here, where Cobalt needs to show objective aggression here, where they can take a base and not allow Miller to dictate this base. Because if Miller just attacks base after base after base and sets tempo play, it's just not going to go well here for Cobalt.
So to interrupt, look at Ixtab Power Reg.
I am
Galaxy, here. Just on the spawn side.
With his gun inside,
yeah.
And it's just pounding away with the Bulldog.
Yeah, it's moved away now, it took too much damage, but it did its job.
Still Twin Fury, Cobalt, Sunder, Blockade Armor on the watch of the cap point. They need more bodies on the point though if Miller does a redeploy.
Well, they got 60 seconds, I've seen them bring it back before.
Another thing I want to see is, we saw Miller do a redeploy, a reinforcement attack, specifically at Wainwright Armory. We didn't really see that much play. Oh wow, Nason's Defiance, check that out, 48-96. Miller is not playing any gambles here.
Right, look for NC 921 to 930, Dick's top men there.
Okay, so I'm going to say that Ixtab Power Reg is going to go through because Miller has chosen to go for Nason's Defiance. And to be honest, I value the Nason's Defiance more than anything else. Because it's a large outpost, and there's just no play here from 96 plus. It's gone even up higher. It's pretty much the central platoons and the flank platoons have all collapsed on Nason's Defiance to guarantee this goes through. But is this going to penalise them? Because Cobalt's turned up to Ixtab Amp Station, however Miller can come and steal it.
Yes! Dick top men.
What? No way! Again? I can't. Well, okay, if they were the first people there, obviously they'll get it. Right, fine. And if you set up the Sunders up, they'll also get it. So Cobalt is counter-attacking due to the huge population dump in Nason's Defiance. Miller's given up a lot of tempo here. They've lost tempo on Wainwright Army, they've lost tempo on Hurricane Secure Storage, and importantly, they've also lost the control of the Ixtab Amp Station. And yeah, and also the Nettlemar Garden, so that's going to be fully secured. So, and we also see that there's a small attack going on at Woodman AC. So now Cobalt has been granted here, literally they lost a base in the centre with Nason's Defiance. They've been granted a lot of tempo and a lot of control from the map. And this question is, can they keep it? I'm currently looking at Ixtab Amp Station and they've got Battle Sunder set up, but Miller... Is that a messy drop? Yeah, messy gal drop on the roof, just kind of I see the splattering on the minimap.
What are you implying, man? Messy splash. Anyway, moving on.
Well, minute and 44. I'd like to see reinforcements from Cobalt come here. There's no reinforcements, but they have this. They have the Sunderers. You know, this is a good time to send your people to Ixtab Amp Station. What are they doing? They're outpopped at Hurricane Amp. They're 50-50 at Wainwright. They're making a push for Woodman. And this is the question. Would you push Woodman ASE, or would you dump the extra population on Ixtab?
Good question. I'd say Woodman is the latter priority out of the two. Ixtab is a bitch to take as his shield. They've got 75 seconds. I think they can do it, but
the external... The SCU's down, the cap point's down. Miller can come in with the Sundra on the rear into the rear of the SCU. They actually have twice the numbers here, but it's the Battle Sunders for Cobalt that are buying them this base. 60 seconds to go on the amp station. Where's Miller? Is it just kind of... Oh, and check this out. The Sundra is doing the block. Fog trying to get the Sunders in, but it's like, no, you shall not pass.
It's a good idea. Very good idea.
It's perfect, and in fact, it's because of that you can't get in, because you don't own the base. It's a neutral base, so you'll have to. Oh, and they're infantry running, but infantry running, they can't get in. That's a shield, bro.
You can't get in, bro.
And they can't get in. All right, there we go. Secondary Sunder got in and did manage to get in. 30 seconds to go. The Cobalt forces. This is the thing. There's only two guys in point. A heavy assault and his medic. That's all it takes.
There's no TR at point. There's 2.
3. Yeah, 3, 4.
Get
4.
everybody at point. What are you doing? Come on.
Oh, it's the valiant defensive tech. Oh, wow. Check out all the NC that's turned up. Come on, just a few guys here from TR would have been enough to take this.
Point. Get to the point.
Oh, but check this redeployment. Miller's playing the timing perfectly. Where's the Cobalt reinforcements? They had this base. They had this base, but they didn't reinforce. Is that because they went for Woodman ASC? Oh, yes. No. They got twice the numbers now. So they've actually reinforced the Woodman AC cap. I wonder if this is not so much a bad gunplay or tactical play, but just a bad strategic play by the Force Commander, not going for the amp station, not going for the neutral base when it helped benefit them most.
All you need is one Sunder or one Sunder in your squad to be anywhere near the point, and you can just go straight to it. So that was a bad move on Cobalt.
Alright, so Woodman ASC is being saved, even though, how is it being saved if Cobalt's got twice the numbers? Let's go check this out. They're outside, they're not necessarily at the capture point. It's actually 50-50 numbers now. We're going to go check the eastern front at Nettelmar. Miller is trying to recapture their, take the beginning neutral base on the eastern flank of Nettelmar Gardens. And I wonder, now that the opening plays are done, guys, there's no more neutral bases, it's everyone's on their lane, and this is it. Maximum pressure, all lanes. So, if this is, this is the mercenary group. This is the group that absolutely destroyed Emerald along the eastern flank and pushed up to the tech plant. So, the level of opposition here for Cobalt is going to be high. Do they have the competency here? Because they actually are surrounding the capture point. Minute and 10 seconds to go, you have to favour the defenders. In terms of populations, it's 51 to 49.
They have a chance at Iron Clay, but they're just very badly positioned. They have overpop actually, the TR on the back. Oh no, actually NC just dropped a load of people in. Yeah, they're both down.
So basically redeployment reinforcements.
Yeah.
This is something. This is the difference between good teams and great teams, or bad teams. Is that when you attack a base, if you attack only with X number, right, and it's 50-50, if you can take it, that's great. But ultimately, you want to reinforce and dump on the last 60 seconds, overpop, to make sure you can get the base. And if you can afford that redeployment from an adjacent lane of overpop because you get tempo play, you've got a base, you're getting the cap time, then that's how you play it. In terms of population numbers, your TR's actually over-committed now. They've gone 62%. So the problem here is if you're in the defensive and you can't win your 50-50 fight and you have to overcommit twice the numbers to make a save,
because I'm looking at the map at Nettelmar,
you'll be penalised elsewhere.
TR nowhere near the point.
The Battle Sunders are gone. It's Max's only, but it's 8 seconds to go. And I think...
They may actually get it. They're just coming in now. May get it.
No! Max stopped them. Max stopped them. The last second is like...
Yeah,
it's not over here. This TR force now has control of the point. Oh, well, I say that perhaps a little bit prematurely. The fact is, what Sunders have they got? What deployment options? Like, what reserve? Like,
did they actually have Sunders around?
Okay, so, but the thing is, they've got... We've got twice the numbers here though. That means they're going to be hurting elsewhere. So Genesis is 50-50. Ixtab Southern Pass was being capped, is now being saved. Looks like there's a 50-50 fight going at Power Reg. 50-50 fight at Woodman ASC. Hurricane, there's a big NC overpop, the no response to TR, so that possibly is going to go to Gurney Dam, and that's where the missing population is. That's the imbalance there, Nettlemire compared to Hurricane. And Iron Key, as you're rightly saying, is 1 minute 50. But the next crucial point is Genudyne. 2 minutes and 30 until a large outpost is captured. Go check the western flank off now.
I wonder what's happening in Genudyne holographics. I never say that bloody word. It's been to and fro for quite some time now. This is that both empires are having a hard time getting the footing.
Okay, we're watching Iron Key. Miller... I'm checking, do they have any Sunders? I don't think they do have any Sunders on the battle point, so there's none in the point, and there's none deployed. In fact, they're all working off existing maxes and beacons. They don't have air control, is actually Banshee close air support for Cobalt. But however, Miller is trying to control the double building, keeping the spawn room warriors, well, just the spawn room Cobalt guys, at bay. With 60 seconds to go though, they're pressuring. Cobalt's slowly eking back.
And just in the lane adjacent, Genudyne holographics, TR just cleaning house. Miller is getting absolutely wrecked off there.
So this is going to be a tempo issue now, right? If I'm the Miller NC force, look, I've been pushed with 60% population. What do I do if I'm the NC at Iron Key? I'm going to redeploy into Genudyne holographics and help that base capture go through, because I can afford 3 minutes of time. Well, they still actually have the control point, so I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'd say personally, pull everybody out of Genudyne holographics and get Iron Quake bang on. Iron Key.
I value the large outpost more. I value ticking down the large outpost. And the fact is, they still have the control point in Iron Key. What is going on here?
Yes.
There's no Sunder. It's all beacons. Look at the air force from Cobalt that's around here. Max is around the trees. Is the point finally going to take? This is way closer than it ever should have been. Way closer. They've still got the point. They've still got maxes. Are they going to get this base? I mean, the redeployments out here. There's no Sunders. 3 seconds. 2 seconds. Oh!
It's disrupted.
Oh!
It infiltrated it.
Okay, now we got beacons incoming in, but they've not got it. It's retaken. Miller takes it. I don't believe that. I mean, with air control, Banshees,
Really
no spawn options, only beacons.
It's very hard to control a point there, though.
Yeah, man, but still, I mean, on a 50-50 fight, when you've got the high ground and you're controlling that base, that was criminal from Cobalt. And the thing is, the Miller force now, I'd probably stay and defend Iron Key, keep this force detained, because if the Cobalt force leaves Iron Key to go to Genudyne to help the force there, then you're going to punish them by, let's say, pushing to Construction Site Alpha, for example.
Now, Hurricane's under attack. That's quite interesting. So early in this game.
GST Sunder in, I'll check that in a sec. And also Gurney Dam, slight distraction. Ixtab power regulation, 30 seconds.
Yes, I was going to look at that.
Twin Battle Sunders. Triple Battle Sunders.
I think actually statistically, Ixtab power reg is probably the most contested base in the whole ServerSmash.
It's the linchpin to Woodman ASC.
Yeah.
Which also is now being saved by Miller, and they've done a counterplay onto Ixtab Power Rig. 6 seconds to go. With the number of Sunders they've got, basically throttling the cap point out, I don't see how... Yeah, that's Volgu from Miller. I don't see how Cobalt was able to take that back. Gurney Dam is being saved. Genesis terraforming 50-50 long-term fighting. Nettlemire Gardens was captured by the NC as we saw, and they've made a save. Question is now, and yes, okay, Moonlight Foundry is now ticking down. So they're defending Gardens. They've got a cap going at Moonlight Foundry. Now you're going to see them start moving out. Genudyne holographics, the numbers have increased. The Miller force that was at Iron Key have left. Check the 1224 at Fort Drexler, waiting for the non-existent fight.
I'm just going to fact check how many times Ixtab power regulations been captured in this tournament. I'm intrigued now.
Well, it's how many times Hossin's been played. It's probably gone back and forth a few times.
Yeah.
Compared to Broken Veil.
Yeah, I'll do that. Just give me a few minutes.
It looks like the Capo and Genudyne holographics are slowly being pressured. 54%, no spawn options, and air control in favour of Cobalt. However, Miller is taking Bravo. I wonder if the two forces, because I imagine Miller has a group per lane, so two groups perhaps have been dropped on Genuine Holographics. However, check this out, there's nobody at Hurricane Amp Station to contest this. Cobalt's got an overpop committal at Gurney Dam. They have got a fresh offensive at Ixtab Amp Station. That's great that Cobalt's making an offensive play here, but they're losing heavily due to the overpops they have elsewhere. They're losing out on Hurricane Amp Station. And they still haven't secured Genuine Holographics either.
So apparently, Ixtab power regulation has been captured 15 times in the tournament.
How many times Hossin been played? Like 4? 5?
Something like that, yeah. Let me check that. As of today, 5.
Okay, so, dude, have you seen Hurricane Amp Station? The SEU's destroyed, 2 minutes until base capture. There is a swarm of Sunderas inside the vehicle bay area. The external shields are up. They're blocking all the ingress points. I don't see how Cobalt can take this. There's no ability to redeploy in. They have to fly in. Exactly, they have to fly in, and you can't drive in because it'll take too long. And if anything, Miller could hypothetically call in reinforcements. Now, they could pull in pop from Genuine Holographics. There is no one else on the center. Looks like the rest of the Miller force has gone to Ixtab Amp Station to make a save. And the other important thing is the western flank, while is generally stable and is slowly being pressured by Miller, and the centre has been slowly pushed to Hurricane, look at the eastern flank. Already at Mulak Foundry, it's straight up to a minute 50, and Genesis is a 2-3 minute base cap. Could go down to about 1 minute if they get all 3 capturing points.
Well, this is the thing, it's all about the tempo play, as you say. And it's quite clear now that Cobalt's cracking to Miller's constant onslaught.
Hossin is Miller's favourite map, and you can tell that Cobalt veto. Now, there's a counter cap from Gurney Dam going to Hurricane Secure Storage. That is smart play, but it doesn't alleviate the problem that Hurricane Amp Station will cap before Hurricane Secure Storage, which means you can get the amp station, then you can redeploy or use the air terminals to fly up onto the cap point and make a save.
Cobalt coming in now to Hurricane Amp Station. They've actually hit the only place.
Oh, they managed.
Thunder barrier. Yep, they're coming in
now. Okay, this is something. 25 seconds though. 4 Sunderas.
4 Sunderas that get absolutely smashed by all the heavies at the top. 2 Sunderas. 1. And that's it, they're done. You're out! They're actually getting trapped by their own debris. That's quite funny.
Okay, 5 seconds, 4 seconds, that's it. Hurricane Amp's going in. And that opens up Depot and Western Pass as well. And then the thing is, with Fort Drexler ticking down, if you can get Western Pass, it locks it out, well, along with Iron Key. Now the Miller... Oh, see, now it's 50-50, but Cobalt's too late to react to Hurricane Amp Station. I wonder if they've got a force composition for every lane, or whether or not they don't have enough, because realistically speaking, you should have a force for every potential lane. Ooh, and you should never abandon... Yeah, I'm here now. And you should never abandon the lane. You should always be fighting on the lanes, if you know what I mean. Because in that instance, Hurricane Amp there was uncontested for minutes.
I mean, the reactions are very slow. I don't know if it's the Cobalt commander cracking up or whatever, but it's very slow.
I wonder how the force structure, the platoon leaders, and that works for the Cobalt, because they're basically... Like, Genesis Terraforming, they've had to make a save. They're twice the numbers to save Genesis Terraforming because it was very close, right? But by committing more than 50% numbers to grab all the points, you are weak elsewhere. So, for example, Mulak Foundry, even taking Tech Plant into consideration, is weak. The Amp Station, or, you're taking people away from other lanes, and when you take people away from lanes, that is a vicious cycle of constant redeployment.
Just look at Genesis. Just look at Genesis. That could have been at more like Foundry. They've got 68% pop there, Cobalt.
Do they need 68% pop? Why aren't they winning the fight with 50% population? If you match them for 50-50, why aren't you winning your 50-50 fights? It's your base. You have the defender's home advantage, so you should be winning your 50-50 fights. Have you learnt the base? Have you studied the base? Do you know where to deploy your Sunders? Do you know where to deploy your vehicles? And if you say, well, they were already at our base and they were already set up and already fighting, well, then I ask the question, why did you allow them to set up at that base? You should have had people in that lane and you should have stayed there and you should have been fighting the entire time.
Does
Anyway.
seem though that you're gonna get secure
Oh, dude,
stores,
yeah, that's going to cut off the amp station. That's actually pretty cool. I thought Miller... Well, they've actually reinforced here, so that's actually really, really good from Cobalt. Extra reinforcements?
Things they've already taken advantage, and they've already got Hurricane Western Pass to
Deployed. Stealth Sunder is deployed on the western flank, allowing them to run up to the capture point.
That was, yeah.
Wow,
Sudden
how many
rush
people
of
did they just... Yeah.
They just dumped about 2 small squads there easily. With max support. At that point, it's just you grenade the hell out of it, and that's it, you're dead. Nowhere to run.
It's 54 to 46. It's not to say that the Cobalt force couldn't rally and counter push. I mean, the Miller's really far away from their spawn options. Cobalt still has their spawn options from both sides. They can rally. Fresh consumables, fresh grenades, fresh maxes could totally push it. The air control is actually marginally in favour of Cobalt.
Marginally, but it depends on how well you use that support.
I mean, the fact is, Miller's exposed outside the capture building. No anti-air, but, you know, it's not really being put to use any... Oh, no, I tell you a lie. There's anti-air turrets from Miller. They've capped on the towers.
I'm just going to pull up some of the stats. I know you guys can't see what I'm seeing, but let's have a look at this. So, kill graph. Yeah, kill graph straight away. There's a 700 kill difference between NC and TR at the moment. So, NC are winning at 3,000 kills, and TR lagging behind at 2,000, just under 2,300 kills. So, I've actually noticed a correlation here. In exception, maybe 1 to 2 matches in the tournament, there has been always a correlation of whoever gets the most kills wins. It's always been like that for some reason. So, it must just be actual skill, or just general defense.
Well, it's also forcing your enemy to play desperately, unfavorably. Like, for example, if you were offensively attacking a base, let's take, for example, Construction Site Alpha, because what I'm currently looking at, and you control the high ground, you control the defensive areas of the cap point, you set up sunders, you set up force multipliers, and the enemy then is forced to play desperately because of time, they will die more. And that...
Exactly. And if you're constantly hammering them, like Miller are right now, you're forcing Cobalt to not think ahead, not plan, not get cinders in place and stuff like that, to just drop on point and they just get farmed. That's the problem.
So watching Construction Site Alpha here, looks like quite a large TR force. Is maybe a squad with air group has pounced on Miller Sunders. It's like this is the logistical kind of force multipliers from the Miller Sunders turning up to Construction Site Alpha. I guess the intention was to drive it onto the capture point. With 1 minute and 44 seconds to go, no force multipliers actually inside the capture point. However, Miller is controlled. Cobalt is trying to push in from the southern entrance.
I'm intrigued what Miller are trying to do with their Sunders. They're underneath them, they're just doing nothing at the moment. They've got Sunder in the other bay, as you normally do, but
Miller's up to 57%. The population from Genuine Holographics has moved to Construction Site Alpha. Look at the population differences. There's a 73% population advantage for Cobalt and Genuine Holographics. They're outpopped at Construction Site Alpha, and they're going to lose it in 60 seconds. I'd imagine they're redeploying out. Yeah, they're right. The population of Genuine's collapsing. They're all spawning in, presumably into Construction Site Alpha. You can see it from the spawn room.
And Hurricane Western Pass is going through.
Is Miller actually getting the Sunder drivers? There we go. They're actually beginning to get them up. But the fact is, it could be a little bit too little too late unless they hurry up. Those Sunders are needed on the point if they're going to make a difference. At least they got one harasser. For the Cobalt team, you know, they get one good push at this.
I'm just looking at what Hurricane Western, 20 seconds left, 6.5% NC pop, no contest. No contest.
Where's this this Max? Where's your engineer? Where's your team? Oh wow, the TR force is actually trying to rotate round to stairs, which is going to work perfectly into the... Well, no, the Air Force is Banshee and definitely Cobalt, but that's not actually going to help the capture point. Miller does have himself a repair Sundra, has himself a harasser, which is actually getting reps and surviving.
I'm just looking at the TR pop coming in now. They're just trickling
12 seconds. There's no concerted big one push.
Yeah, they're all in one door as well, so all they're going to do is point guns at the door. Fire away. There we go.
And this is how you get such a kill disparity.
That's mum and sister.
That's got to be any. and RO and whatnot. Okay, so generating holography says 2 minutes until resecure full save. However, now that Sharp's Run and Construct Site Alpha are both captured, all the pressure is going to be on Genudyne and possibly Fort Drexler, small harassment forces. Miller's also pushing to Hurricane Southern Depot, which is ticking down. Gurney Dam is constantly being saved, Cobalt not allowing them to progress any further. Ixtab Southern Pass just started on the cap. Genesis Terraforming still a long time to save. The attack by the Miller NC on the tech plant has been repulsed, and there's actually a counter cap at Mulak Foundry, small 50-50 numbers, and there's quite large numbers on the tech plant. So we're going to go to the South Hurricane.
Seems to be something going down at Mulak Tech. I'm going to check that out.
So it looks like there was an almost save by the TR at Hurricane Southern Depot by Cobalt, but Miller is able to regain control, has kept the cap point, is reviving all their players.
Mulak Tech is under hack now. There we go, it's begun. Actually, nobody here by NC.
On
maybe
Mulak
two
Tech?
guys.
It's 50-50 pop on the map though.
There's maybe a squad on the point, but nowhere else. Don't know where the NC pop is. We've got Vanguards out. Oh, Vanguards are popping enemy Sunders coming out the vehicle bay. Very good.
Oh wow, that's smart.
The only good application I've seen of MBTs.
Counterplay here by Cobalt. Check this out. Big play for Hurricane Secure Storage and Ixtab Power Regulation. The enemy is not set up. They're not here in position. So the question now is, Cobalt has managed, while we're probably going to lose Hurricane Secure, probably, but the fact is they'll be cut off territory. So this could work in Cobalt's favor. It's a smart play. Now the issue is, Cobalt now has time to set up at a base. There's no opposition, there's no instant fighting, so how have they set up at the cap point? And if we have a look at Ixtab Power Regulation, the answer is actually quite well. There's a lot of proxy repair Sunders, it's Jesters and perhaps another group, GDX? So they've got the Sunders, they've got enough proxy repair Sunders. The question is, do they have enough infantry support those Sunders, or are they going to receive a redeployment reinforcement? And they also have to anticipate that Miller is going to send more than what you have to make a save.
Depot. So I'm at Mulak Tech Plant, just having a look around. Miller is still on point, and they're trying to get Science Sundays in the point though. And TR taking them out pretty quick. A load of guys coming through the tunnels. Miller ready for him, they're all over.
Miller's doing a very concerted AV attack on the spawn, well, on just the Sunders around the cap point. With 2 minutes to go, Cobalt needs to husband their Sunder force. They're all getting slowly picked off one at a time.
Let's go check out X-Tech Power Rexes.
That's what I'm looking at right now. Oh! Oh! Suicide Medic with some C4 gets himself, by Cobalt, at least 2 max kills, crippling a third. And he survives! He's still alive! What? You're at a C4 now, what are you going to do? Wham! Bob the Medic takes another max down. That's a hero Cobalt Medic if ever I saw one. That's going to stall the Miller advance on their Sunders. However, the Cobalt team are now down to just 2 Sunders due to the rocket angle attacks by Miller. Down to 1 Sunder now.
They do have a backup in the garage.
And this is the brutal point. We're now down to 60 seconds. There's no reinforcements for the Cobalt team. They're matched 50-50. Miller sent only 50%, but now they're bringing their own Sunders. And with 60 seconds and pressure with maxes, oh man, a deployed Sunder right on the point. That's going to be brutal. That's the death knell.
That was Dig putting that in. So it looks like they're going to be streaming in from there now. And here we go, NC Sunder is moving in for the kill. Double repair Sunders. Oh no, they're not double.
That's it. And that's the painful thing. A very good offensive play, a very good attack attempt, but Cobalt is unable to seal the deal. And they've also lost the Hurricane Secure Storage, so it's like they've shown they've got aggression, they've shown they've got ability to attack, but they just can't guarantee it. Where Miller, when they
just
attack
can't
a
get
base, it's guaranteed it happens because
They just can't get the force multipliers on them.
well, no, they had a ton of force multipliers, but the difference I think with Miller attacks is either A, they win the 50-50 fights right away, or B, when it gets close to capture, then they bring in more people. They just bring in more people and dump on the base cap.
They just dump the wrong numbers on there to get the edge, which is a good idea, actually.
Well, it works. You know, and they're getting bases now. The tech plant down to 2 minutes and 50 seconds. This will be mercenaries. They love tech plants, along with VIP, and I don't know who they're. Maybe a Bob Squad or something else for the platoon group. The balcony's lightly held. There isn't really that many people. It looks like it's mainly stragglers incoming from Cobalt at the moment. I'm not seeing any concerted singular push.
What was my original prediction? 65%.
Yeah, you're gonna. I don't know, man. We've got 1 minute and 20 left. There are going to be some bottlenecks. The first bottleneck right now is Mulak Tech Plant. If that goes through, then the second bottleneck in the south is Southgate Checkpoint. Genesis Terraforming is an incredibly important linchpin, as is Genudyne Holographics. Those bases cannot be afforded to lost. Miller, check the population, 48 to 96 population drop in Fort Drexler. If you take Fort Drexler, you can power on through to the Biolab and theoretically to the Warp Gate. From Cobalt's point of view, they want to perhaps reapply pressure to Hurricane Secure or maybe Ixtab Power Rig. I don't know what to do as Cobalt. There's just so much going on. Requiring... Like, if your players, your guys can't win their 50-50 fights and you have to send more people and you're always helping one particular lane, it's painful because other... Well, it means that you can't push elsewhere because you're weak on all your other lanes because you have to supplement your vulnerable, flank. However, on the tech plant, we're seeing quite a large number of Cobalt gal dropping from the central area. They're on the outside balcony, poking for balcony control. I wonder if this Banshee's TKing people.
He is actually, yeah.
I mean, he's trying to do some work on the max, I guess. Oh! Res grenades on 2 TR, right? But then the instant they get resed, frag grenade goes off, as you saw being thrown a few seconds before by their own team.
Oh, there's an engine turret at the northern side of the balcony. Oh, no, it's flipping out now, but it's ripping shreds.
Well, okay, so control of the balcony is in Cobalt's favour, and Cobalt has got it, but look at the population. They've had to go to 6% population. The SEU, however, is ticking down, but the population that's here can continue to spawn, provided they get Sunder set up. That's actually quite important.
Fort Drexler's going through.
What Fort Drexler is... You're right, there's no population there whatsoever ready to contest that. And the question is, there's a 5.5 minute tempo play on the tech plant, so this NC force can either come back and re-attack, or they can perhaps apply more pressure to Ixtab Southern passes going through, and that's because of the population imbalance at Mulak Tech Plant. So you're pressuring the large outposts, forcing the enemy to overcommit more numbers, and then taking all the small outposts that you can get your hands on. The question then is, what happens when you lose the large outpost? Case in point, Fort Drexler. Because it looks like Miller's already on tack-on storage, ready to get the base going through.
The facility is ours.
And that locks down Hurricane Secure Western Pass. Hurricane Secure Depot is going through. Cairn Station's about to be attacked. I've never seen anyone on Cairn Station before. We have seen Miller do attack on storage cut into Root House Distillery. Dude, that's going to cut off Genudyne Holographics and the whole Ganon tech line.
Yeah, never seen them go so deep south into Cairn Station before. This is quite new, actually.
I mean, we saw the cut-off play against Emerald, the clutch push into Root
that's
House.
exactly what they're doing. They're at attack on now. I can see in the pops. 75% Miller pop.
And Ixtab Southern Pass is also actually a really hard base to defend because of the nature of how far away the cap point is, which is over here compared to the spawn room access from the west.
Cobalt's got like a squad on tech on storage. That's not going to be enough, fellas. They've already got a full squad of Miller coming in. Yeah, they're already on point. Flipping that off. So it looks like here we're going to get a cut-off in the western lane.
This facility now belongs to the NC.
Could we get a domination victory here? We've still got an hour and 17 minutes to go.
I think the path of most resistance is going to be the centre, so Gurney Dam, Outpost Lambda. But if
Well,
they play it right,
if Tacon and Root House goes through, that will cripple Genudyne, the Ganon area. All that territory can get gobbled up. It's Genesis terraforming is the real kind of problem. The tech plant can be harassed, but if you can break Genesis, you can push them into SRB, Hunter's Blind, Construction Site Zeta, that type of stuff. And that's 2 minutes and 40. Now the question is, does Miller choose to reinforce it? Or do they go really, really hardball into Tacon storage? Ooh, I'm BR10, I've got beacons. Okay, we're at Tacon storage. Miller has got Battle Sunders. They can squeeze in. Yep, perfectly sized hole if you were paying attention to yesterday.
What was the phrase? Grease it in, was it?
Yeah, something like that, yeah. Canister, oh my goodness, this is bloody brutal. So, Tacon storage is one of those base construction sites where, more than anything else, it really favours the people on the cap point. It's such a hard base to retake the cap point. Harasser actually has radar on it, so he's a radar harasser for stealth, for motion detection. Doesn't need a motion sensor.
Does that work though for the occupants of everyone?
You need the person inside it, but they do have a person inside of it. But it's a canister harasser. So the fact that they've got all these kind of Furies and canister harassers watching the entrance doorways to the cap room, you have to bring in your own vehicles really to break it through, and even then it's such a clunky entrance. Oh wow, this RO harasser is actually driving up, being a right nuisance, picking off. There's absolutely no let up by Miller against Cobalt on the spawn room. They can't even get out the spawn room and move beyond the staircase.
Thing is though, it's like Miller's been very aggressive because they want that position to take on every other thing. It falls out today. It truly is. It's quite literally show no mercy.
Just following this sniping info who's right on the front line. You got medkits, bro? Of course you got medkits.
So Cobalt coming in now, only just now to second storage with 2 Sunderers and the Galaxy. They just dropped now. They're going to have a very tough fight in their hands. 1 minute 30.
There's so many multipliers. But there's so many multipliers. They see the risk, they see the threat. And by Miller pressuring Tacon storage, they could take bases elsewhere. But look at this. They've brought anti-infantry maxes. The amount of AV weaponry inside Tacon, equipment that requires AV.
It makes me wonder how much communication is actually going down to the SL. So obviously the SC say, right, get AV maxes on tech on storage, if that is actually getting passed.
It needs to be pounders. It's the Sunders that are going to be absolute, and the harassers that are brutal. You need to get rid of the maxes, you need to get rid of the Sunders, you need to get rid of the harassers. The infantry isn't really the problem here. So it needs to be pounders.
If I was SL and I knew there was a few maxes that they've been using maxes all day, I'd just say, just get pounders and don't pull out L's. Not AI weapons, they're the least of your worries, as you say.
Yeah.
Always AV in this case.
Well, watch the remaining 30 seconds of this fight and then check out the map.
Now there is a pocket resistance coming in at the southwest. They are making progress, but I don't know how much progress they'll actually make.
Well, they've surrounded the building, but with 20 seconds to go, this is the strength of Tacon storage. It's an elevated cap point on a raised platform, and the multiplier vehicles are still alive. Oh, they're running them over!
Miller have been very smart by putting Sunders on the stairwells, actually on the stairwells. They can't get up them. It's very smart though. I don't know if that was intentional, but...
This facility now belongs to
Okay.
That was
the Miller capture. And that was a fight the opposite of what we've seen before. And actually, Gurney Dam's about to take down. It's where there's such a strong defensive setup that even with additional numbers, it's not enough to save. And the problem is, if you send numbers too late, you need time. When an enemy is heavily entrenched, how did he get a lightning in here, dude? How did Dig? Dude, Gurney Dam, how did Dig get a lightning in here?
Elite skills.
No. You need to is that actually fit through the doorway?
It can do, yeah. It's very hard to do. But it's one of our tactics we've developed. I'm sure somebody else has done it, but it is quite OP. The way to do it is to I don't know, man. It's cat's gone anyway. The way to do it is to get it on the eastern side and just ram yourself through it, and it does go through eventually.
Something I need to see.
They really should put some pillars down.
Okay, so now we're an hour and 12 minutes to go, and Miller is up to 69%, and Roothouse Distillery is ticking down. That's going to cut off a huge amount of Cobalt territory. I mean, Emerald set the statement yesterday, hey, look at what we can do, and Miller has responded in kind. That ain't nothing. Both teams playing on their favourite continent. Okay, heading over to Roothouse Distillery, because this is the one that matters. You need to, Cobalt's hand is being forced. They have to defend Roothouse, and it's this base again, guys. We were here a few weeks ago.
It's the exact same, basically the exact same opening moves. We've had Nace's Defiance in the first 20 minutes.
Slight tweak for the new capture mechanics.
Yeah. So, TR are just coming in one by one. There's no concerted push, no maxes. There's a Sunderer in the south, but it's not been spawned upon. It's a mess. Absolute mess. I'm trying not to be biased here, but my God.
No, you're just calling out as I mean, we can be positive for Cobalt and what they have to do and how they do it, but the fact is, the most important play for Cobalt right now is Roothouse Distillery. All the other counter-attacks and plays, look at the population dump that's on Cairn Station. It's good that they've got a Galaxy on the roof, that's fine. Miller needs to collapse. Cobalt is almost here, they've almost got the point back. I don't see multipliers for Miller, I don't see Sunderers on this upper plateau walkway area.
Miller don't actually have much people on the point, they've only got maybe 5 maxes in the whole area. They're dropping gals now actually, Miller's reinforcing the point.
Actually, Galaxy ramming Galaxy.
The thing is though, is that all you need to do is just drop more forces on the building and you're in. You're basically in the point for Miller, at least.
I'm not seeing maxes for the TR, I'm only seeing maxes for the NC.
That's what I meant, sorry, yeah. 5 maxes for the NC, pretty much. They're just creating a shooting gallery, literally a gallery of bullets.
I mean, if the NC brings scat maxes, right, bring pounders, dominate their maxes, and your infantry will win. So, I mean, the base is surrounded by TR now. In terms of population, it's 53 to the TR, so TR has slight number advantage, although Miller is bringing in air reinforcements to drop. With 45 seconds to go, this is desperate because the runtime from the spawn room is around 30 seconds.
Yeah, they're done, I'll call it now, they're done. There's no way they can
There's not that same level of pressure on the outside. If anything, they're being kept at bay externally. Okay, check the max crash coming in from the north. 27 seconds. This in theory is enough if they go now. But dude, there's AVE mines, maxes. The entire Miller force is turned around from the entrance. They know what's coming. They know where it's coming from.
The way I've seen this max, I only see 3 maxes there.
Oh, yeah, what is it?
Crash?
No, it's not really a crash, is it? There's so many maxes from Miller. This is going to be a cutoff. This is ruthless evisceration. The Miller's saying, you know, when you beat us, we were really just playing nice early in the season. This is what this is our true form, you know.
There we go.
We've liberated the facility.
And that is Cobalt's territory is just plummeted now down to 22, and it means now that Genesis Genuine Howard graphics, I didn't even notice when that went through. OMR terraforming is going through the most minimalistic of forces. There was a small cap going at Fort Drexler, but that's going to be saved, and then Eastern Gatehouse is already ready to go. Gannon Research Lab is also all ready to go. Rusty Bent Glaive may be the next pressure, and Miller's doing a little bit of harassment at Cairn. They got themselves Gurney down, that locks down the central lanes. The number of options here for Cobalt to counterattack are getting limited and more and more limited. However, it also means it's easier to defend. Like the play area is just being condensed. The real linchpin at the moment is Genida's terraforming plant. That is preventing any form of progress. However, in theory, it could be cut off if Miller could push Lambda to blind into SRP hydroponics. But that, again, that also really matters if this Miller force can get the Mulak tech plant. And you see that Miller's actually overpopped 2-to-1 numbers on Genesis terraforming as they were pushed off the tech plant.
Well, I'm predicting there's going to be some resistance at Bitol. We'll probably get down to actually Hunter's Blind, so I'm predicting a lot of resistance there. And probably Southgate.
If I was
still holding on though.
If I was Miller, I would consolidate the Gannon tech area first. Consolidate the Gannon tech area and then apply pressure to take the base. Or to take the rest. I mean, you could just like throw caution to the wind and go straight for Bitol and allow minimal forces to go for Gannon. And that is the right play, minimum forces to take behind. Because the fact is the enemy needs to fly in. In fact, they're trying to counter. They're still here. They're flipping the point. but it's such light forces, you know, beacon drops, galaxy drops, you know, that they have no maxes.
Yeah, there's nobody on point. Just one, two guys, three guys. Max is just ripped up to shreds.
And one of the other differences I'm seeing to play here is the fact that when I'm seeing TR maxes, usually they're by themselves, or they've got infantry, but they've got no butt buddy, that is an engineer. Whereas the NC maxes, I'm usually seeing have an engineer always repairing them at the time. And Miller just instant save. You can see the Cobalt Air Force partially here. It's 50-50 numbers. Cobalt realizes the value of this base. I mean, they've got air here, but what else is going on? Gurney Dam, they're re-attacking. That's good. It's 2-1 numbers. Cairn Station, 50-50. Genesis terraforming, 43%. Still a long base capture. And the tech plant's about to be fully resecured. So I'm going to go check the Gurney Dam. I don't think Cobalt's going to make any ingress on Root House Distillery.
Gurney Dam's a bold move.
Well, they got a Battle Thunder. Let's check inside. They have a few maxes, but I have to say they got about 4 or 5 maxes. But in terms of infantry and numbers, they're only a fraction of what Miller used to capture the base originally. They're about half or a third.
Now this is the kind of setup Cobalt should have been doing all along.
Ooh, reinforcement gal drop.
Yeah, they've got Sunders in place, they've got reinforcers coming in, they've got beacons everywhere, they've got Sunders on point. This is what they should be doing from day one, or base one if you want to call that.
It's a good statement by Cobalt. Counter Galaxy partial drop. Galaxy ramming speed over there.
So those guys have just dropped mode. So I'm just hearing proxy orders going out saying get inside, stop getting outside, you idiots. People, fair enough. Seems Cobalt a little stressed at the minute.
Maybe. The thing is, with the Galaxy drops, honestly, so long as they're not pushing along the ridgeley, and that's like full gal drop on the roof of the balcony, I'd want to contest the doorways. I don't want to fall into the room too soon, especially since you got a Sunder on the outside.
You know, I want to be positive here and say
I think they're going to get this.
Yeah, I want to be positive and say they'll get this. This is a good setup. It's quite
a good setup, good pop. No, I mean, since they're condensed in the south, you do have the ability, that kind of concave versus convex effect, to push out with numbers and get a base.
So now they're getting pounders out, they're learning, they've got pounders out this time for their maxes.
And they're also bringing more battle Sunders in, proxy repairs, Furies, not necessarily anti-air, they're all Furies, so they can't do anything with the air, but that doesn't matter. All they need to do is basically Fury the roof of the cap point where Miller's currently residing, and with 33 seconds to go, I think this is going to be a capture for Cobalt, and that's that is, you know, the first real offensive cap that we've seen in this game if they can pull it off. In terms of Rusty Bent Glaive is ticking down, although there are some defenders. Gannon Research is ticking down. Looks like, oh wait, sorry, Rusty Bent's been saved, but Gannon Research looks like it's been captured. Fort Drexler still trying to be saved before they can go to Eastern. Looks like Miller isn't necessarily pushing it just yet. They're doing some pressure on Cairn. By taking Gurney Dam back, though, you prevent the ability to push into the centre of Cobalt's inner, you know, because everywhere else is guarded by large outposts. There you go, Cobalt takes it. Excellent work.
Fall back and regroup.
I mean, this is what they need to do. They need to bring it back, doing this kind of thing at every point. Bringing it back with maxes, with Sunderers, with beacons, with air support, whatever they can muster. And not do stupid choices like getting AI for AV scenarios and stuff like that.
Right, what else is going on? We see that Miller's still heavily committed to 2-1 numbers on Genesis Terraforming Plant. They really want to break that. That's possibly the people that were at the tech plant. In terms of Gurney Dam, the entire Miller force has been repulsed, partially to, it looks like they've redeployed to Hurricane Secure Storage. Ixtab power amp regulation looks like it's got 1 through 12. That might start ticking down at any moment. In terms of the western flank, Research Labs is about to go through at Gannon. The Rusty Bent is being saved, although there's nobody there, so maybe that can flipped. We see 2-1 numbers in favour of Cobalt at Root House Distillery, and Root House Distillery is now ticking down. Go check that out next. And yeah, we also see Ixtab Power Reg is ticking down as well. I mean, that's play. Oh, Miller's did the big play. See that? They've gone up to 96 plus now at Genesis Terraforming. That's what they want to do. They might even sacrifice the Root House Distillery, possibly, to get the Genesis. So, you know what? I'm going to go to Genesis because that's realistically, that is the big play that Cobalt's doing. They're trying to brute force hammer their way through the linchpin defense here at Genesis Terraforming.
I love how in the Twitch chat when they say Miller's stacking CSB into the.
Sorry.
That's cute. Yeah, Miller are absolutely all over this at Genesis. even on the TR map, I could see just loads of people at Bravo at the moment.
Up to 68% in a 96 plus.
Yeah. They're just everywhere.
Well,
They're
they've
just-
got. It's definitely locked down.
It's balls deep.
Three quarters. They've got 3-1 numbers. The tech plant is actually being recontested again by Miller. Or at least they've got 59% pop up. So where's the population imbalance?
Well, that's the thing.
Cobalt
They've been moved from the left lanes to the right
extra
lanes.
power rig. There's an overbalance of Cobalt on Cairn. There's an overbalance by Cobalt on Root House. And oh, check out what is going on. There was 1224 at Ganon Tech Plant very briefly, and they've reinforced Root House Distillery. So Miller is trading Root House Distillery for Genesis terraforming.
It's an interesting move. I would have kept Root House personally. I think what's happened is that they've moved a lot of the forces in the western lanes because we don't need them anymore to the eastern. So they moved them to Genesis in order to take that base.
Or maybe the western lane's been left to themselves and the centre and the east has been dumped on Genesis for Miller, and the west has been left to contest by themselves. Because see, a counter-attack going to get Genesis, Miller's doing a small attack again on eastern, and 2 minutes to go, and the numbers are 44 to 56 at Root House Distillery. So Root House Distillery is still not guaranteed, and there's still about a minute and a half after Genesis terraforming goes through. And it does look like that Miller is finally going to crack this base after an hour of combat.
Yeah, I think you're right. All the centre forces have moved to the eastern lanes at the moment. Which is good, because they need to crack it and then move over to SRP Hydro.
I was going to say there was tempo in the centre for Cobalt to perhaps push further from Gurney Dam, but that doesn't look like that's the case. It looks like all their pop is really committed to the western edge. There's just nobody in Genesis. They've just abandoned it entirely. It's lost. And that's finally captured.
Liberated the facility.
Thing is, they have got a bit of damage control to do, so they've got extra power X going through with 1 to 12, oddly. So there's a ghost cap they've got to deal.
Right.
Down.
Root House, is that being saved, or I'm going to go to Root House next? Because that's the most important thing.
Just issue an all call. There's 1 hour remaining in a match now. 60 minutes remaining.
60 minutes? Wow.
If I'm Miller, I'm like, oh yeah, 60 minutes, this is great. If I'm Cobalt, I'm like, oh crap. We can totally bring this back, guys. Yeah. Cobalt is dumping onto the cap point. So now this is a role reversal. Not as many maxes, but it's more anti-infantry maxes. I guess Miller had anti-infantry as well.
They're just getting absolutely pounded with grenades.
Miller is just...
now.
Oh, on the... Oh, I was going to say that, yeah, Miller was being pushed back on the outside at double doors, but yes, here we go. Big stairs. A lot of conk grenades. But they are right on the cap point with maxes. There's just not enough reinforcements for Cobalt.
With the numbers, they've got 2 very thin doors to go through. They may be able to do it, but it's going to be tight. 30 seconds left. I think Miller has some momentum to keep going. They're literally on the point now. It's just those NC maxes just ripped to shreds, those bars.
There's a lot of death. It's too hard to call at the moment. So long as there's steady reinforcement of Cobalt on the cap point. They've got the Air Force control. Miller's going to expand their force here in a second. This is one big push.
Yeah, here we go.
Oh, is this it? Another push from Miller?
Yeah, they've already got the back end anyway.
Yeah, they're corpse camping now. Nah.
They've actually been pushed out of their own point. So the toss! Serious This is carnage though. Oh no, Cobalt getting it back!
What's that? Do you hear that? Synthesis says, throw more grenades!
I think people getting sick to use this PTSD. He'll live that forever his life. So Canadian.
Oh, Miller's grabbed the point. Looks like they're slowly beginning to mop up.
Yeah, they're fine. We got it now.
In terms of population, Miller's gone to 55. Yeah, the pop that was a Genesis is totally gone. They didn't go to Mulak Pass. Looks like they're making stuff extra power reg. They've re-attacked Gurney Dam, and they're also attacking hydroponics. The problem is...
Cobalt's just got some reinforcements in. See if we can do anything with them, but...
Cobalt is actually retaking Ganon Research Labs.
Oh, yes.
It's a base that's cut off, but they're retaking it. Very slow numbers. Oh wait, no! 10 seconds has been saved.
If I was Miller, I'd send at least a couple of squads to mop up that territory. It's just lost territory there.
we'll see a couple of squads. What else are you going to do? Because Root Distillery had to be saved, so it's small scale fighting. You can't really afford to send more than what the enemy has, you know, because you want to. You allow Cobalt to get Root House back if you abandon it and go for anything else. I mean, I suppose when Root House is saved, so long as you can do the cap down on Vital and buy yourself some tempo on Vital stockpile, then yes, you could totally go for the other bases in the kind of western flank. Gurney Dam is the base currently at the moment, and also there's a push on Mulak Pass. It looks like the tech plant's been saved, but Mulak Pass is ticking down. Looks like actually some players from the eastern lane were the guys who saved Ganon Research Labs. And they're saying in proxy chat, come on, I came all the way here to save this base. Okay, Miller currently set up at Gurney Dam. This is actually, the base is flipped a couple of times here. They've got themselves twin Basilisk proxy repair Sundra.
Basilisk.
Basilisk?
You've been saying this wrong throughout the whole time.
I've been saying this wrong probably my entire Planetside career.
You heard it here first, folks. Correct fire.
Vanu. There you go. Oh, well, we see the Cobalt Force, infantry only, pushing up to the cap point at Gurney Dam. Oh man, is that more lightnings in the cap point? Not one but two now? Viper Lightning number 1. Viper Lightning number 2. Yes, 2 dig Viper Lightnings in the cap point. With a canister harasser.
I do science.
Dude, Viper Lightnings, that's just brutal. I mean, they're totally trying to check the pop that's been dumped here by Cobalt. What have we got here? 54%.
I'm gonna get out the observer cam and can't see the spot.
What?
Oh, I can't do it. Oh.
Well, I tell you what, with 1:10, Cobalt completely surrounding the external base, they could get this back. There's no reason they can't get it. Oh wow, they got their own harasser!
That's how you do it. That's how you
And what do the lightnings do? Because they can clearly see him.
They're watching the doorways, not us.
The harasser is trying to escape! No, he's not. Yes, he is. What's the lightning doing? Running over his own guys. Way to go, Dig. Way to go.
That's about right. Number 21. Who's number 21? Let's have a look.
Oh, I tell you what, he's being a boss though.
That's Samjay. You fucking traitor, Samjay. Excuse my French.
But the fact is that lightning is still alive on a quarter health. There we go. AV mine. That's it. He's gone. He was buying time, but there we go. Finally, Cobalt's breaking in and let's get this. No reinforcements from Miller, which is a bit surprising. But Cobalt makes a save. But there's still 3 minutes of tempo. Oh, it is 48 plus though on both sides. Mulak Pass is still taking down SRP Hydroponics. It's still a long 4 minutes. Baitol is ticking. Rusty Bent is ticking. Eastern Gatehouse is ticking. And is that a tier recap going? Yes, a tier recap going on at Ganon Research. It's like the most pointless base, but it's being fought after. Okay, Miller's making a save in Ganon Research Labs again. This is good distraction play. So long as Miller commits more forces to go to Ganon Research Labs to save it, I guess that works. And actually, we see that Cobalt is saving Eastern Gatehouse, and Rusty Bent Glaive is kind of ticking down, but all these kind of small, low-key numbers making saves. The question here is, Vital Stockpile is the real problem. That is the frontline base that has been ticked down and being captured. Gurney Dam has got a... well, was a 24-48, and they need the Cobalt forces that saved Gurney Dam now needs to go elsewhere. They need to save Milk Pass, maybe SRP. Both bases going to 2 minutes. In fact, there's 3 minutes that are all in 2 minutes now. 3 bases that are all in 2 minutes. Sorry, that's what I meant to say. For Cobalt and offensive captures against by Miller against Cobalt.
Now there's a counter capture on Ganon research by TR again. I mean, you
That
would have
was
given
not
it up.
saved. Yeah, Ganon Research, that's what I was talking about, is being saved. The Eastern has been saved also by Cobalt, and Rusty Bent being captured, but it's so low numbers. It's like, it's not really important at this moment, because with 51 minutes left in the game, it's like territory you can afford to get later, so long as you keep pushing the front line. It looks like Cobalt is redeploying into... Yeah, they got 58% pop on Vital's stockpile. Mainly light assaults by the Cobalt force. Oh, no, never mind. Some heavies. How many EM6 kills we got?
How many what? So...
Oh, the weapons aren't color coded.
Oh, refresh it. Oh, they're not. What the hell?
And the Mustang air hammers blended in there as well. Anyway, Anchor's top dog, followed by MSWR. The NS15N2. What? 0.75 movement?
Very good accurate weapon.
I guess. There's no vehicle stats either. I'll leave that in
Yeah.
your capable hands.
Just refresh, it'll show. It's not real time. It's very difficult to get that real time for some reason.
Still some pretty brutal fighting going on at Vital Stockpile. Cobalt has not been able to make a full resecure. There's still 2-to-1 numbers in favour of Cobalt, but the capture point isn't controlled by Miller.
Time to close the deal.
So ironically enough, actually, the Mosquito is the highest vehicle. So it's showing that Cobalt's actually having a more effective air force. So we've got 2 captures going through in the west, the Ganon Eastern's just gone through, 20 seconds left of West Enclave. Just getting none of the extra of the territory that they really don't need right now. The thing is, it's kind of, territory is irrelevant now, isn't it? It's not based off points. It's based off victories right now, though, isn't it?
Eyes on enemy aircraft.
This is just merely a formality at this point.
Check the map timeline, it's pretty brutal. And yeah, we see Cobalt finally having enough at Vital Stockpile and dumping enough pop to force it through. But the western kind of capped off bases is now collapsing down to just the tech plant and Ganon Southern Crossing, which looks like it's about to go through. The dam has been re-attacked, 3 minutes to go. Mullet Pass was captured, has been counter-capped by Cobalt, and it looks like Miller is Capo and SRP Hydroponics is lost, not being able to break the tech plant, so the Cobalt forces holding on to that. We'll go to the Gurney Dam next.
Yeah, it does seem Gurney Dam does seem to be one of the focal points in this match. It's shifted from Power Reg to Gurney, I think, now. They're on point there, they've got multiple Sunderers around.
Well, they had that last time, and they were still repulsed, so it's to be seen here whether or not in the next 2.5 minutes. But then again, Cobalt did have to dump a lot of population to make the save. It was like 2-to-1 numbers, if not more.
Here come the Dig Science Lightning. See how they actually do it, let's have a look. If you want to find out how they do
I'm
it,
watching.
Aaron, you're watching, yeah. I think they're coming from the southern side, actually, I can't remember.
He's showing his backside though, it's really dangerous. Oh, what's he doing? Oh
Yeah.
wow, so much for that lightning. He knew he was on camera, he choked.
No, there's another one to the southeast. Here we go. It's about to be revealed.
Coming through, coming through, coming through.
Proxy chat. Coming through, coming through, coming through. No, you're not.
I have faith in the Diggler.
Oh, his ass is
Make
getting
me
shot.
proud.
Oh,
There we
perfect fit. Literally, like by a pixel.
It fits, I sit.
Basically.
Here you go, folks. Top secret Dig tactics revealed. Please do not use copyright Dig.
Well, 58%. Triple Sunders on the point. Twin Sunders about to join them, coming from the bridge entrance. Wow, that massive... all the Sunders are anti-air. That's all they are. Just flacking off any kind of airdrop on the roof. So the infantry's having to come from both bridges. I don't see how they can pull this off in 35 seconds. It's nowhere near the same level of commitment. They've only got 44% population.
Definitely just seeing the odds are against him.
Cobalt's made it to the building, but they were at the 2-minute marker last time when this happened. And Miller's Air Force is actually here, air hammering. Oh my god, just everything on the outside that's red.
Actually, I've seen a difference between the last match Miller played. There's not as much air as there was.
There you go, it's another flip for Gurney Dam. Gannon Southern Crossing uncontested, 50 seconds until it goes through. Tech Plant uncontested, 5 minutes until that goes through. SRP Hydroponics, which I've said this a couple of times, but do you know what SRP stands for?
Oh, sorry, you asked me a question.
Yep.
Remember
Yeah. Maybe if you fly over here, you'll figure it out.
Is it? Oh, no, yeah. Something to do with space, isn't it?
Space something.
So it's right. Space rice plantation? Is that it?
Close. Space rice paddy.
Ah, clever.
Or at least that's what one of the dev tweets were.
Yeah, I remember you saying it ages ago on the stream. Although it's not rice, they're more like melons, really.
It's space rice. It's really big rice.
Araxi rice, is it? Araxa rice, trademark. Yes.
And the Cobalt forces are kind of... they're not really going as a kind of a group, and it's actually quite difficult to get access to the cap room. The Air Force has turned up at SRP for Miller, which makes it 10 times harder now because it's such an exposed area where the... Miller's farming, and they're not farming rice. Or how about Miller's bringing in the harvest?
I like
Bad
it.
jokes, yeah. Population's still 50-50, but it's Miller Air Force is choking the spawn room. With a minute and 20 seconds to go, Cobalt's just going to have to suck it up and push.
Here's now to say, this is the semi-finals. You're fighting for victory, it's not for territory points anymore, so this is merely just a formality now, we're just playing the game.
Well, it's more than a formality, it's a statement.
Yeah.
Emerald got a 70-0, right? Miller's already up to 78. I think they kind of want to... Oh, what? The capture point. What's going on? Oh, one person. Two people. No, so one guy killed a couple of guys killed a bunch. They got the cap point back. It was kind of uncontested. Oh, and the infantry group from Cobalt is pushing out. In terms of population, they're up to 56%. Miller's Air Force isn't all here anymore. It looks like, oh, Outpost Lambda is also ticking down. Lots of kind of problem points. So even if Cobalt does make a save here, they've got pressure elsewhere. But with 44 seconds to go, they've got the pop. Although the run point from this eastern section is probably quite long to get to the cap building because they need to rotate right back up to the stairs unless they go up and underneath and around. There's not enough Miller alive, I think, to hold this point for 30 seconds.
I'll just be compared to Yoshino. I don't know whether to be offended by that.
I don't know.
Hi guys, Yoshino here. Anyway, moving on.
Can I be Rel then? Rel plays. No, wait. Farah plays ServerSmash. I don't get to play ServerSmash anymore. It's quite disappointing. Everyone else is playing ServerSmash right now, especially when Miller does it. Anyway, going back to the game itself. Ganon Tech, 2 minutes until capped. Attack on Surge has been counter-capped. 2-1 numbers, 63%. We'll check that one out from Cobalt. That's an important play. Oh, but Lambda's 1 minute 43. So they made a save on Hydroponics, but can they make a save on Lambda? Let's go check Lambda first. It's on our way.
Now, only just now Ganahan Tech come through. I'm just going to watch that and see if we do any.
Vogo's got Battle Sunders on the point. The looks like Cobalt's Air Force is here fighting against the proxy repair Walker Sunder, but there's just so many rocket pods. It's still alive. Oh man, it's being mega repaired. Critical health numerous times, but he's just not getting picked off. Here comes the infantry, however. So this will be a redeployment probably from SRP, and the risk is that Miller could redrop on SRP while Lambda's ticking down. And also, attack on storage, Miller's redeployed twice the numbers of what Cobalt has, so we'll go there if it's still ticking in a second here. We'll just see the outcome of this fight.
You look at Lambda, yeah?
Yeah.
Safe to say, Cobalt's Air Force is here in force. Nobody on point though. 2 people on point. It's actually been more of a hindrance for the air pounding for the ground guys to come in.
They're leaving it very late.
Yeah.
Here comes the push.
Yeah, here we go. We finally go back. But only just.
7 second save.
Cutting it very tight.
Yeah, there's no way that they'll get this back because they can't reinforce back into the room.
Good fight, guys. Good fight.
Well, that was Despa. Oh, well, nice try. Okay, so that's Lambda and SRP both successfully saved, but attack and storage have been saved. Again, tech plant's just going through. Vital stockpile is being re-attacked. Cobalt is back on Mulak Pass. With 40 minutes to go, Miller's up to 80% territory. Population is still practically balanced. Where does Miller strike next? Do you go for Cairn Station? I mean, that's quite a tough nut to crack. Maybe not. You would probably go for Lambda and SRP again, and maybe Vital into the Biolab. And for Cobalt, you gotta get Lambda saved, long tempo play there, and get Gurney Dam back perhaps. Maybe Hurricane Southern Depot. It's difficult because Cairn Station can be threatened just by the 2 links into it.
Problem is now is that we've got very hard bases. Vital, Cairn, and Hunters. And SRP, they're just rock hard bases to take.
The force commander today is R-Tiger, I believe, and Napoleon's backing him up. This chat was asking, you'll be at 2-minute delay, unless you want to type out from.
Just is on that already.
Hey, well, I'm 2 minutes late to the party. Okay, so I'm just trying to watch the populations. There's still 48 plus over Lambda. The Miller force is currently back on Gurney Dam. Maybe get more Sunders. Looks like SRP Hydroponics is about to be fully resecured, but there is Miller force 2 squads plus. We'll check that out. And the front's kind of calmed down. Yeah, Miller's just dropped with Valkyries. They're basically going to flip the point. Maybe no. Cobalt stayed and defend the entire time with a max. They might have people on Genesis ready to flip it.
If I was Miller right now, I'd dump the majority of my forces and roll like crap.
Can you take Genesis from me? I think they've been counterplayed.
What's this at?
Genesis terraforming. Yeah, they have. All 3 capture points have been flipped to Genesis terraforming. So the Miller play, see that 2440 SRB hydroponics, too late.
Yeah,
they need to go back to terraforming. They can stay at hydroponics, but it's dead population. But speaking of dead population, there's actually quite a lot of pop by Cobalt on Outpost Lambda waiting for that to go through 2448. So there's 2 dead pops in both bases. And then also we see a Cobalt attack going on Hurricane Southern Depot. It's 50-50 numbers. And also Vital stockpile. Miller's slightly out pop 56-44, but they are attacking 2 minutes to go.
Miller are responding. They've got 2 points back at Genesis already. They're just dropping Reavers on points and taking them back real quick.
Looks like the attack at Hurricane Southern Depot is a small numbers. Kind of motion sensors. Maybe a deployed Sunder nearby. Can't really tell because the character won't see it.
Enemy heavy. Spotted enemy heavy.
Bit of stockpile. I'd love to see a Biolab fight. We've not seen one in quite some time now.
Minute 50. Whoa, we saw one yesterday.
Did it last that long? It was like 4
No, it was seconds. When Emerald went for the Biolab on Amrish, spoiler alert for the next 10 seconds. Well, never mind. I wouldn't say, but it was interesting. Put it that way. You can go watch the VOD.
We've not actually had that much like epic Biolab fights that last for longer than, let's say, 5
Well, if you're going to commit to a Biolab, you crunch it. You don't stay there and grind out.
Yeah.
2 minutes to go on the Hurricane Secure Depot. Miller has 56%, 59%. Actually, I'm going to go over to Vital because that's increasing to 48 plus. It's only a minute to go. Cap point is tentative.
Intriguing, I'd say.
No, it looks like Cobalt might. It's such a awkward cap point to hold due to the roof.
Yeah, they've got the roof. Although they do have maxes on point in the areas.
Well, the Cobalt guys are wall walking along from the spawn, which is fine, and then they're coming down to the point from above. Miller's got the kind of under umbrella section, whereas Cobalt's on the top air pad cover. Cobalt Air Force is here, which is why they're not being punished. Max and a couple of infantry. Infantry's collapsed on the point. 30 seconds to go. Oh, that one C4 took out like 5 guys. That is going to be brutal.
There we go. That was the key.
Just too much clumping in one area. Light assault C4 drops. Okay, so the vital stockpile. It's such heavy numbers. I would have thought, actually, there's probably fewer Cobalt on the ground because there's so many flying in the air at the moment. I can't quite get that. Hurricane Secure Depot has been saved. Gurney Dam has been re-attacked 2 squads plus, and so is SRP. Oh wow, okay. It's going to be a trade here. Gurney Dam for SRP Hydroponics. And if you're Miller, do you just go for SRP and just say, screw Gurney Dam, we'll get it back next time? Well, actually, what base goes through first? It's almost the same. 20 seconds difference between SRP and Gurney Dam. Nothing from Miller's gone to Gurney Dam yet. They've got a slight overpop at Hurricane Secure Depot. They could go to Gurney Dam. The fact is, this is perfect time. A minute and a half already expired, and Cobalt can be setting up on Gurney Dam. Multipliers, that type of stuff. We see 1 Sunder and 1 Harasser. Okay, they've got time to get more. Doesn't look like Miller's going to seriously contest this because they want SRP, and I guess as a force commander, who blinks first? Do you pull people off SRP, or are you committed, therefore you're going to stay?
So I'm just purging Twitch chat.
Wow, okay, so we're kind of just watching the fight here. Miller's brought more multipliers this time, specifically proxy repair Sunders trying to... they're too far away now to get reps. I guess that's how you get Sunders up to this area. Ooh, Valve drop on the roof. Only going to be about 4 or 5 guys. It's not enough, there's just too many NC on the capture point for the kind of that stealth cap from behind. In terms of numbers, it's 50-50, and Miller's actually got 2-to-1 numbers on Gurney Dam, but they're still losing it. Okay, so it's basically a slight overpop by Cobalt on SRP and a big overpop by Miller on Gurney Dam. Who saves, who caps? Miller's closer this time around than they were before. 25 seconds to go, and they've still got plenty of bodies inside the cap room. Cobalt is outside the cap building, on the door? Not really. Miller's going to get SRP. There's not enough time to run to the capture point. Yeah, okay, so Miller gets SRP. Now, what about Gurney Dam? Miller's made a save. Oh, wow, 48 plus. That's a huge dunking. There's also now a play for Mulat Tech Plant. Attack on storage needs to be saved. Vital stockpile is being counter pushed. 17 seconds, and then Ruhas Distillery is going to go through. Looks like Miller dropped a lot from Gurney Dam, specifically from the western lane, so Miller's going to have to go back and save Tacon after Gurney Dam. So Cobalt definitely not going down quietly, always willing to be aggressive and kind of push back out. But with the loss of SRP Hydroponics, you can't cut off the tech plant and the tech plant lanes until you go all the way around to the to the warp gate area. Getting construction at Zeta ticking down. The problem is you have to get through Southgate checkpoint, large outpost, so close to the warp gate, very, very difficult. The best approach realistically is to go from SRP into Hunter's Blind, bypass Lambda from Gurney Dam and then, you know, work your way to the warp gate if you are Miller. If you're Cobalt, however, you're so close to your warp gate, you have to favour the ability, because it's just such a condensed place, to you know, go where you're needed. You can practically redeploy anywhere, and getting reinforcements, vehicles, things at the warp gate is you know, pretty fast. I suppose the Miller's got much longer kind of supply lines for getting you know, new vehicles and whatnot.
Don't give up. We're still in it.
Oh, here we are at tackling storage. Not the same level of Sunders we saw before, not necessarily on the kind of staircase. Needs an engineer to back him up. He's definitely important for the next minute 40.
So now they've got SRP, it's opened up a lot of opportunity. So they can go for Hunter's Blind now, Zeta. Let's just say Zeta.
We haven't seen Hunter's Blind for a while. I know that was a fun base of PTSD.
I remember that when it was East versus West, that was a very nice base to fight at. Especially during the merger smashes, my god.
We're watching the reversal here from what we were before earlier. Attack on storage down to a minute and 10, 50-50 pop numbers, and Cobalt's actually got 2-to-1 numbers in Root House Distillery. Miller has to move their population, like they've got more pop dunked on Hunter's Blind, and there's actually quite a bit of pop of Cobalt on Zeta, and then it's equal on Mulak Tech, so it's a lot of population redistributions going back and forth. Still 80-20 with the base flipping going on though.
We can't let this facility fall to the enemy.
Seems that Miller's going to try again at more like Tech Plant, 57% pop there, that's TR.
40 seconds to go. Here comes the big run in now. Miller's all running in as a group. Nah. Didn't quite come in. About 5 or 6 guys, infantry only, ran into tackling storage entrance point. It's still light forces by both teams.
Half an hour remaining in the match. Now, 30 minutes remaining.
It's very much a gunplay at Miller slowly creeping on the cap point though. Here comes the extra reinforcements, and the Cobalt forces are just ever so slightly being edged. Yeah, that's it. So close. 6 seconds. That's a ton of pop by Miller, and it's, well, 60% pop. Cairn is still ticking, Lambda's now ticking, Hunter's Blind is now ticking. Root House Distillery will probably get saved from the overpop that's at TAC-on. We'll go to Hunter's Blind right now and check that out. Oh, okay, Cobalt's Air Force has turned up on the cap point, and this is going to make it brutal for Miller defenders. And Cobalt is just tearing a new one out of Miller on the cap point. We see their infantry running to the cap point. Miller forced to stay inside the capture room, which is Grenade Haven. Wait, no, is this some Miller Air Force? You know, because Miller Air Force is here. Whether or not they actually do some close air support, though, outside the cap point, that would definitely help Miller get this. I can see it on the minimap. Whether or not they're just repulsing... No, that is actually some, yeah, Liberator in the trees from Volgu pounding down on the ground. That push of infantry to the cap point stopped. Now it's only on the top walkway. Does the Miller Air Force know this? Can they stop it? Minute and 10 seconds still favours Cobalt quite heavily.
They're definitely knocking on the door. I think Cobalt will get it back. Right there.
I think too much of Miller's Air Force is, well, if you look at the skies, I think Miller's Air Force has definitely got more, but the problem is they're not on the western side. That's the issue. They need to
get on point, yeah. They're nowhere near the point, that's where they should be. So now Cobalt snuck in and got him.
40 second save.
Yeah,
Oh, check the Galaxy with his hovering his bulldog right by the western door.
Oh, he's getting a ton of kills.
Dude, that is super effective.
That far.
They might actually get the cap point because of this. It really depends on what kind of spawn options they have to get back into this.
Miller's coming in, surrounding the point now.
Yeah, but now Cobalt's got a lot on the point.
We've got beacons in. We're getting enough people in, and they'll be able to do it.
They're getting reinforcements in. It's 52% Miller, but they got an Air Force. It's skewing the numbers. Tech plant is being saved, 2 minutes to go. Roothouse Distillery is being saved, Tacon's being saved. Lambda being captured, 1 minute 20. So Hunter's Blind, although it's being saved, the pressure in here is preventing the TR from Cobalt moving back to Lambda.
Yeah, that's a good point. If we can get Lambda, that's another checkbox off to the rest. How long have we got left? 25 minutes, something. 7 minutes. I don't think it's possible to get a full domination. I don't think it's going to happen this time.
No, I think Hunter's Blind, at least for the now, is secure. We're going to go check out Lambda. 52 seconds to go. And it doesn't look like there's a strong...
Time to close the deal.
Hey you, medic. Kill that beacon. Oh, well, Max does it. Here comes the infantry push now. Bit late, bit weak. Oh, okay. Miller's Air Force is here just to say hello with some higher hammers. Got taken down quickly. Ooh, nice kind of flanking there by that. Oh, wait, where are you going? Come back!
So I'm just at Lambda. Cobalt are moving in slowly, but they're not able to get on the 8-point level. They're in the stairwell just above. Airboys are just absolutely ground pounding at the moment. 10 seconds to go. You need to go in now, gents. Come on, move in. Oh my god, I think they heard me. 3, 2, 1. Yeah, they've
not enough.
Outposts. Yep. Lambda's
Just
winners.
not enough.
This facility now belongs to
It's
the
very
NC.
sloppy.
By a few seconds, and that's all it was. Just like, you gotta look at the timer and say, you know what, there's no point staying out here and waiting. Oh,
Yeah,
I
it's
tell
just
you what, TR's back on. TR's
It's
back on Tacon, 1 minute to go.
In particular, this is just hesitation on TR's side. They're just there with the maxes, but they're not actually getting into the point and getting stuck in. They're just hanging back.
Tacon Cap's gonna get crushed. No, Max is an infantry here. It's been stopped. It's been saved again. Roothouse is about to be fully resecured. Cairn Station's actually ticking to some degree. Wow, okay, is that Hunter's Blind ticking? Yes, it is. Okay, so that's Hunter's Blind now. So Miller's back on the cap point, minute 40 to go. A lot of maxes this time we can see on the minimap, good number. Problem is, the galaxies are the problem. Twin proxy repair gases. Oh, hello, some Miller Reavers. But it looks like there's quite a bit of an air battle going on around this area. This is a lovely base for air forces to play with each other. Well, Miller's still in control of the point, minute to go. They've got a slight defense in depth. I think air control at the moment is in favor of Miller over this base, although it's not total. We see reinforcements coming in from time to time for Cobalt, whether or not they're just trying to herd off the... No, they are actually bansheeing ground contact. It's very hard with all this foliage to try and prevent any type of attacks, but without a concerted ground push, I think Hunter's Blind is actually going to fall and Miller's going to take it. Ooh, gal drop on the cap point on the roof. No maxes though. They're instantly getting picked off.
We can move on from this base. Oh yeah, they definitely got this.
Okay.
So that's the thing. They just get pushed back off, and Miller just comes
That's
right back
blind
on.
down, and it's up to construction site Sigma, getting close to the warp gate. Vital stockpile is being attacked, 3 minutes to go. Attack on storage is almost saved, although there's not really defenders, so it can be reflipped even though that Cairn Station is ticking. So Miller needs to make sure the Tacon's fully saved, and Cobalt can, I guess, can exploit that. We're going to go to Vital stockpile now because that's going up to 40 plus. The tech plant, let's go check the tech plant again because it's another 3.5 minutes until the tech plant's done. doesn't look like Miller's choosing to like overly reinforce. It's just a straight up 50-50, one group against another group.
See, more like tech plant again has been hacked. Is that base ever going to go through this match?
Well, we're at the tech plant. It's probably the Merc group. Yeah, it is. That's basically them here going for the tech plant. The vehicle bay, both vehicle terminals are dead. Deployed Sundering. Okay, so some Reavers, some external forces. Oh, UFOs turned up to reinforce at the balcony area. Is this Miller actually pumping reinforcements into this? I think it is. I think Miller's deciding to get Mulek Tech. I suppose with 21 minutes left in the clock, you get Mulek Tech, you could take Mulek Purification and Kestrel Watch just as easily as, or much easier than the tech plant itself. You see, Tackle and Storage has been recaptured, or attacked, I should say, by Cobalt because it wasn't fully resecured.
The thing is, though, is that mathematically speaking, now we're getting to the sub 20 minutes, so it means that the whole left and right lanes are going to follow the domination picture now.
What is it? How much do you require for total domination?
94%.
Oh, okay. No, I don't think that'll go through because the problem is you need to get Mulak. It's 1, 2, 3, maybe Zeta, 4, 5, 6. You could get 6-ish, maybe. I don't think you'll get Construction Site Sigma though, pushing from Hunter's Blind. You could get close, but there's so many bases in Hossin. It's basically one base for 1%. Ooh, Glory Hole and Tech Plant. Haha! The Sunder on the up pad. Nope, you can't go any further.
Only 1 minute 20 to go. 64%. Yeah, 62% NC pop. I think, well, that's going to go through finally.
Miller sending the everything's condensing now. We see that the Miller force that's dumping on Mulek Tech has basically come from SRP Hydroponics. So this is perhaps another bad play here for Cobalt because they're choosing to attack SRP Hydroponics, which is good, but the problem is that that population could be used in the tech plant to make it a 50-50 fight. So you're guaranteeably giving up the tech plant to go for a wishful thinking attack on Hydroponics, especially since the tech plant is going to capture 3 minutes before SRP Hydroponics goes through, giving the defenders plenty of time to get your base, redeploy, and then save their base. This is going to go through. There's no way they're going to get it in.
20 seconds. The thing is that they've done so well to keep Molak Tech, and they just let it go. And Bittle stockpiles are also coming through as well.
Oh wow, there you go. Vital stockpile did go through, and now so SRP is under attack, but that's going to be redeployed on and probably saved. 98 plus. He's got big reinforcement. There we go. So tech plant finally goes through. I'd imagine there's a 1224 waiting for them by Cobalt on Purification site, to be seen whether or not the Miller Force can keep punching along this extreme eastern lane. Miller Forces, they're maybe going for the Biolab. I don't know. I mean, it's a Biolab. That's going to be really, really, really hard to take. We'll go to SRP Hydroponics, see how that's going to go.
I think Sigma is about to have a hack. Let's have a look.
Difference between the Miller attack. So let's be clear here. 1224 from Cobalt attacked SRP Hydroponics with 2 minutes to spare before the enemy turned up. So what have they got? Well, unlike Miller that brought like 5 or 6 Sunders, there's only 1 Harasser, 1 Galaxy, and a couple of Maxes. So I mean, it's considerably easier for the Miller Force to redeploy in, and really only infantry push up to the cap point. Are there any offensive redeploys, for Cobalt? Extra reinforcements for this attack? It doesn't look like it a mile. They're already pushing up to the cap point. And Miller, they're touching the cap point. Just 1 strong push, and that's it. They've got the cap point.
You know what? This will bio. Which base are you on about?
SRP Hydroponics. Just Miller's made a save.
Ah, right.
Hunter's Blind is ticking down, so Cobalt's doing a fresh attack there. Cairn Station is just low numbers attacking. Whoa, that's the Biolab actually started, I think. Let's go have a look at that.
Miller's just outside Sigma, but they're getting absolutely ground pounded by the Cobalt Air. I've actually noticed that Cobalt Air seems to be the more dominant one in this match.
Well, they're so close to their warp gate as well. Pushing up to Sigma, like, the thing is, Hunter's Blind, they need to go back and save, but the approach to Sigma, and we'll show it on stream in a second, is so much harder. Miller's, oh wow, Vital is a 4-pointer.
Oh, isn't it? Yeah, I forgot about that.
That's going to make it much longer. Rather than a 3-point, which easier. B and COK are closer together, but there's not like a spawn room contained. This is a tentative just pressure. You see that the entire A flank is just streaming in, which means the defenders of Cobalt can get to A and then rotate round into Bravo Charlie.
You are in a restricted area.
People saying in proxy chat, Miller stacked, Miller is only max. So they are making a very valiant effort, so Tiara coming across the banana bridges right now. They're pushing into B point.
Just look at B.
Yeah,
It's
just max versus max.
horrendous.
Quite glorious. I mean, this is what Planetside is all about, massive battles and clusterfucks like this.
I don't know, man. When this many enemies come at me, it's probably the only time I'd be happy to be in a max with a shotgun.
Yeah.
So the SU gen is down, but I don't see how Miller could push to the SU generator herself.
Yeah, they're already out popped as well, 58% pop for TR.
Well, I mean, if they're out popped here, it means that they're over popping Hunter's Blind. Maybe they can push Sigma. Cairn's a slow tick. Tech Plant is being counter capped. Looks like the Miller force that moved to Miller Plant is being counter capped at Miller Tech by a small group. SRP 1224 of dead Miller population. Perhaps they're going to go to Zeta. I'll show the approach from Blind to Sigma now. That's the SU gen, so even the risk of that is now gone.
So we're looking at 14 minutes left. I'm thinking that domination is out of the
Sunday
question
train.
now, so.
Sunday train heading up to construction site Sigma.
I'm going to check out Moolap 6 minutes.
FRC from Miller are... Oh, is he going to do it? They're doing some cunning driving up to the cap point. Oh wow, there's actually Sunders already here waiting for them on the deployed Sunder and battle Sunder Furies, waiting on the cap point of Sigma.
Same again at Moolap purification as well. Miller's Air Force is here trying to ground pound, but they're just the way this base is configured, it's very ineffective. But TR have got Sunder on point and Moolap purification ready for NC to come through. Miller to come through.
Miller is brute forcing their way into Sigma. Two of their Sunders have made it up. The rest are coming up on the staircase slowly. Spawn Sunder and Battle Sunder for Cobalt are valiantly holding point. I mean, the guns, 3 of the 4 guns are manned. It's a question of whether or not these Cobalt Sunders can last.
It's irrelevant because they're losing Hunter's Blind behind them.
Oh well, that's recent. That's only 20 seconds, but they've got 2-to-1 number advantage. The fact is, if they can grab the point at Sigma, you'd say that the number advantage they have at Blind, they would get it back. But step 1 is they need to just check out the cap point. Yeah, it's small numbers. It's just a small diversionary counterflip currently at Hunter's Blind. It's not like a serious Cobalt push, but it is distracting to Miller. But the cap point at Sigma is still being heavily contested, and that Sunday train isn't quite able to get in. Sunders, harassers of Cobalt just denying any access to Miller, and these original Sunders that were here have still got control. So they're going to have to go back and rethink about it. Alternatively, the construction site Zeta is ticking down, and Mulak purification site is also ticking down. So 2 more potential bases for Miller. That would take them up to around 87-88% roughly, if they got him. 12 minutes, so hypothetically 3 full bases in a lane can go, but it's realistically speaking 1 or 2 more and that's it. In theory, Cobalt could save Zeta, take SRP, could take a Hunter's Blind. Saving Cairn, going to any other adjacent base isn't going to happen. They could take Vital back. Miller, conversely, theoretically could get Sigma. Zeta is definitely an issue, and Mulak Purification and Kestrel Watch is also very much a possibility.
I've got an interesting stat. So you know how NC are pretty much always the most TKers? Not into this match. It's TR. They've got the most TKs this time. We have broken Planetside, gentlemen. Broken it.
Stay alert. Enemy heavy nearby.
Doesn't count. Live servers only.
Yep. No bonus checks on Jaeger.
Bonus check is the win at the end. That's where it's at.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
we
that's
got.
why NC are at the.
We got Cobalt surrounding the construction site Zeta, but Miller's Air Force is here, although it's very heavy anti-air coming out the spawn room. So Miller's kind of Breaver is really only doing kind of strafing runs at best. Cobalt slowly surrounding 2, if not 3 of the sides of the base, not necessarily the big open double door sections. There's no there's 1 Sunder from Miller as a multiplier on the cap point. 2 minutes to go is still a very long time for this base cap. Cobalt's got plenty of time to think about how they want to come here. In fact, they're bringing in more numbers, it's 56%. We see Miller's bringing extra force multiplier Sunders to the base, but they have to contend with Mr. Harasser. Oh, and also we see Cobalt's Max is turning out.
So looks like we've got UFOs, Miller Air ground on the ground, and cons on which is at Zeta at the moment. 1 minute 20, possible.
Here comes the Miller Maxes rushing up onto the balcony.
Yep. They're trying to. Oh, yeah, there's another set of Maxes to the other side. They're hesitating though. There we go, they're finally coming in.
The Sunder from Miller's gone, so the Fury multiplier's gone as well. And there's no reinforcements from Miller. Miller's out popped here, 56-44. They are heavily popping construction site Sigma, 48+. So maybe they're saying it was nice to have gotten it. Oh wow, and they're also heavily popping Mulak Purification. So they're losing 2 bases here.
We've got a balcony cross battle here at Zeta. So Miller's hold up in the west.
Well, they've still got the cap point at Zeta as well.
Yeah.
I'm surprised. Well. They've got recontrol of the other balcony.
Miller's reinforced it. They've got back onto the both balconies now. I think they're going to get this.
Sigma, Zeta, and Mulak Purification are all ticking down from Miller, and they've got control of all bases. Sigma's the longest to go, but I thought Cobalt had this. Alright, here they are, totally outside the building. If they're going to run in, it has to be now. There's just not enough time to get to the cap point. Nope, they don't want to go inside. Okay, Miller's going to take construction site Sigma.
Yeah. And Zeta.
And they take Mulak site. Sigma is 1 minute and 47, so that's our next base we're going to check out. Miller moves up to 88. Yeah, they may actually hit that 90%.
94%.
I'm saying 90, it's just like a numerical number, that's all. 94 I don't think they'll get to, not with 8 minutes.
Alright.
They need to take Kestrel Watch, which is ticking down. They need to take Sigma. And in theory, Nanite Relay. It would be very close.
The Kestrel's an easy one to take. Southgate checkpoint, not a chance.
Not a chance. You might get Nanite Relay, but it's an underground cavern. It's the only base that's a small point to take. The fact is, Vital stockpile needs to be saved in the next 2 minutes, so we'll go there after the Sigma cap goes through or is saved.
Vitals, I don't think it's going to through. I definitely don't get it. The only possible way they can do it is to get SIP 9-act relay. They have the time to do that. No, they don't. They don't have the time them off. If they had about 4 minutes more, if they got Sigma and then immediately went 9-act relay, got that without a problem, and Whistling Pass with 4 fingers, that could do it, but they don't have time now.
Seven minutes remaining in a match. Now, 7 minutes.
There we go, 7 minutes, so that's all uncontested large outposts out to play.
23 seconds, Cobalt is swarming their air force and surrounding all points of the building, but ingress into the building isn't happening. Miller has a Cobalt Fury Sundra and a second Sundra Twin Furies being repaired by engineers, watching the entrance points, holding the higher, kind of watching all the doors.
Yeah.
And they've been called to crash in the point. They've all been told to go into the point. And Miller gets it. Right, okay, so that's another base for Miller. Nanite Relay is already waiting and being defended. Miller's up to 89 now. Kestra Watch is 2 minutes. I guess that's the next base. Miller's saving Vital Stockpile, so there's no, can't really go there. We'll see the next base that's being attacked, as I said. That's the eastern lane. Now that the tech plant was big kind of stop, you see that they're just brute forcing their way through now.
Yep. I don't know why they're at Southgate checkpoint. I'm pretty sure nobody heard the announcement. That's not be able to go through.
But it wasn't like a public announcement. Was it? 5:53. No, it's not. Dead pop. Move that entire pop to Kestra Watch. Doesn't matter.
Yeah. Ken Station.
That's up to the squad leader to really realize, because you can be engrossed in the fight and not realize how much time is left. Because if you don't have your own clock and your time, and you don't have an overlay like we do, you don't necessarily know exactly how much time you have.
No, that's Justicia has done his referee all call, so people should be listening.
In fact, it's gone down to 1 to 12. Maybe they are leaving and redeploying. Well, if Kestra watches the 90% marker.
I'm thinking Ken Station's going to be the next big fight.
Is that even possible to get it? What's the timer at?
5 minutes.
All
they can
3
get
points?
it if they secure all 3 points right now. But maybe that like 30
Not
seconds to
sure
do it.
that's gonna... I wouldn't want to fight at Cairn. Not with an A point in the tower.
You'd have to drop everybody on it.
Time to close the deal.
That's too much of risk of other bases. Nah.
Well, think about it. You've got 4 minutes, 50 seconds, approximately. So you think, right, okay, battle stockpile, probably need some more people there. Castle Watch is pretty much done. Because just like Sigma's pretty much safe, so just drop them all and can get it done with. But, nah, I don't think it's going to happen. But I think we'll get a 90%.
Oh, 10 seconds. The Cobalt forces... No, they're just too far away. That cap point's too high. Wait, is that a Valkyrie drop up on top?
What did they do at that time then?
Oh, the point was flipping.
Stop?
One heavy assault made onto the point with a light assault. Miller's coming back to the point, but there's not enough Cobalt nearby to assist. No, the point's going to be
4 minutes remaining in the match. Now, 4 minutes.
Where is Miller?
There we go, they got it. So,
That's
they're
tight,
up to 90%. South checkpoint's not going to happen. We are under 4 minutes. No other base can be captured other than Stockpile. Stockpile is the only base that can be captured if Cobalt goes to it right now.
And now it can't. Yep, they're out. We can't do it now.
Okay, so that is final score. Not a domination victory, but pretty darn close. Pretty very
It's the
convincing
closest
by
we've
Miller.
had. It's very
Nice.
close. Definitely one of the more
For a
lenient
Hossin,
matches. Yeah.
Go check out SP Nanite Relay while we're just watching the last kind of fighting going on here. I guess both teams realise they can't capture anything else, but
So I'm just having a look at the stats here. So Miller have got 13,400 kills, and TR are lagging behind by just under 3,000 kills. That's a lot of people that haven't died. That's quite astonishing, that amount of lead. It's actually, I think that's the highest amount of lead we've had in the tournament in terms of kills, like the kills difference.
If you just look at the top outfits, there's one for Cobalt, and then the rest is just Miller domination on the top.
Oh, that's unfortunate. Big slash T at the bottom of the biggest outfits for NC. Sad face.
Right, that's it. 1 minute 20, guys. Sorry about that. We're just checking the stats out here. I'll show you the map timeline as well. See if there's any fighting. Oh wow, the biolab. Forgot about the biolab. The biolab could have theoretically actually gone through had they got all 4 points. Not anymore, but it could have. Dude, check that map timeline. Is that not a linear curve or a linear curve? Or linear line?
Compromised. Generator destroyed. SCU critical.
Pretty flawless.
Few dips, but
Yeah, but it's just like consistent throughout the whole thing. Wow. Proxy chat, someone's playing the Soviet national anthem, I think.
SCU stabilized.
Please have the force commanders in the interview channel. Thank
You
you.
can still gut this out.
there's not a lot to say about that, really.
Well, I mean, that was pretty brutal. We have to... Oh, is that some fireworks? Oh, we need to know where the party is. Okay, well that is the final... Oh! Oh, they actually...
No, that was me.
Dude, flip it back, you moron, so we can freeze it and take a picture.
I already froze it.
Thank you. That's the way it should have been. I was going to say, did they get that and cut that off? But no. Okay. Right, so this is the final map, guys. It's 90 to 9. We're going to get the reps down into the interview channel. We're just waiting for them to filter in. And then we'll have a heart-filled chat. Looks like they want to keep fighting at the biolab. Let's go check this out. Yeah, that's it, pretty over. Right, we'll go to the NC warp gate and then. So that is, while we're waiting for this, guys, get down to the interview channel, guys. That is our Emerald Miller final. If you were a betting man, you'd be probably in the money because I think that's what people thought were the two main strong first and second seeds, both making it through.
It was inevitable, really, wasn't it?
Well, you can't count anyone out when it's a knockout tournament, but the strengths that the two top seed teams displayed just shine through all their games, and they just played better. So let's drop down and we'll have a chat.
Yeah.
Ladies.
So that was, I mean, let's be clear, a one-sided game. Hold on, I'll just get TeamSpeak up. I guess maybe we should take it from Halo Spud, your point of view. That looked like a very stressful game to Force Command as Cobalt. Maybe you can explain how you felt the game went through, where maybe it kind of just slowly started slipping away from your grasp.
Yeah, it was grueling. It was pretty awful.
I mean, a lot of people gave up, and you know, some of my platoon leaders were giving up as well. I understand that a lot of our air platoon just rage quit, which is a big problem because we were starting off okay in the air, but I think people leaving it really cripples you. I'd be interested to see what the numbers were throughout the match.
The numbers were actually fairly balanced. I saw the chat, people saying about rage quits, but right up until at least the last 10-minute marker, it was still like 49-50.
Okay, alright.
Yeah, pops were pretty even until the last half hour.
Depending what the people were doing.
By about 10.
Ah.
But that was it.
The basic problem, I mean, we've had this discussion before. When I first started Force Commanding, the way that you won a match was make fewer strategic mistakes in your opponent, because people were still learning how to do it, and they made errors that lost you the match in moving your forces around the map. But then people stopped doing that, we learned more about the game, and it kind of escalated to where the strategic plays were fairly balanced, so the quality of your players and outfits made a big difference. So there was a bit of an arms race, people started stacking their teams a bit more, and I think now we've got to the point where you add on to that the use of force multipliers, which is really the final step to get an extremely effective force, and that's kind of where Miller are at. I can't get my guys to do that because they hate it. They don't want to play that way, they hate playing against it, and they hate doing it. They don't do it on live. What can you do? I mean, so battle buses, Sunderers, Maxes, air dominance, these are the things that win matches. They're incredibly powerful in the game, but they're not a great deal of fun, so people don't really practice with them. And that combined with the fact we've lost a lot of players and outfits over the last year, and it seems to me like Miller have just got more tier 1 outfits left and active and still able to field a full squad than any other server. And they've got a really complete team. They've got strong air, they've got strong infantry that's built on a large number actually of tier 1 outfits spread across the force. Yeah, we can't beat that.
It's difficult because
I fielded today is the best I can get out of Cobalt at the moment. There's nobody missing from that, or very few people. That is the best that I can field. And it's not good enough. We could have done a better opening strategy, definitely. It wouldn't have changed it all that much.
I guess, I guess you've got kind of a point there, because if you've got 5 or 6 lanes, and even if you have just one lane that's weak and you need to then commit forces to help them out because they can't win their 50-50 fight, it means that you suffer elsewhere. And if you're being pressured on all lanes and all the time, it's just extremely stressful to deal with, right?
It's hard to turn that around. I mean, when the cap timers are all working against you, you've really got to sit on a base and count it down. But if you've got overpop on a base defense, then it means that you're underpopped somewhere else, probably where they're attacking, and then you have an urgent need to shift that pop and defend somewhere else, so they come in and attack the base that you were trying to count down, and it's really hard to turn that position around.
So that kind of that tempo is just so high that once you're not behind on one base but on all lanes, it's just like, what do I do? What do I defend? What do I save? I suppose. How do I push back? We did see a number of offensive plays.
To play over time as well, definitely a factor in these matches. Where in the last hour, people, they may not rage quit. We may still have had plenty of people, although it sounds like we were a squad down for the last 30 minutes. But they're defeated. They're not giving it their all. They're not working so much as a team. It breaks down a little. And we've seen that in a lot of smashes. That's nothing new.
And I guess for the Miller guys, I suppose congratulations in order. Emerald set a very strong statement yesterday when they won 70-0 to win by 90-9. It is quite a strong, look at us as well. How do you feel the game went? Did the game plan go well? Did Cobalt surprise you? Were there some stresses? I mean, obviously the end score says it was very successful, but maybe what's your thoughts, Tiger or Miller team?
I think the opening was probably the most unique opening I've seen in the Smash. I've never seen. Wainwright Armory and Nason's Defiant Sandic Stab didn't start capping for a long time, and that was something that we weren't really expecting. We had to do kind of have to shuffle our plan around and improvise a bit more than we would normally. But it turned out to kind of work in our favour, which was handy. And yeah, and eventually from that point we were just trying to kind of put pressure on all the lanes. Eventually, when we got down to kind of the last kind of ring of bases, it became very difficult to try and push through them to keep cap timers on their bases rather than ours, which is always an issue when you start moving forward without an even lane, because they have 3 or 4 connections to your bases when you have 1. But yeah, I think the platoons did a great job today, just constantly pressuring everything and really solving their own problems, which made my job quite nice and easy.
We didn't really pick many air battles today in the stream, but I was watching what was it called? Hunter's Blind. And at that one point near the end, it was quite a brutal air battle going on. Some guys, both teams firing on the ground forces, and at the same time, both teams fighting the enemy aircraft. It was just a complete mixture of anti-air and anti-ground play going on. How do you guys feel the air game was throughout the wider game itself? Did any particular team have dominance? Do you feel that one team had control? And 1 second. Yeah, please do tell us what you think about the air game.
Well, I can say from the Miller side, it was an extremely tough fight in the air. We knew from the get-go that we would probably be encountering like way more people than we could field in our air platoon. So we know it was going to be a tough fight, and it resulted in some of the best air fights I personally have fought in ServerSmashes. And in the beginning, it felt like we were on the back foot. We kept them like busy, but we couldn't do our normal thing with the air hammering and such. Yeah, tough fight. But in the end, it seemed like we won out. That Hunter's Blind fight you talked about, that was like crazy. But yeah, amazing fights in the air, a lot of fun.
Spud, do you have your air lead here, or do you know how maybe it went from your point of view, the air game?
He sounded a bit defeated at the end. I can ask him if he wants to join if you want. It's Daika, if you want to play him up.
It's up to you, I mean, there's no pressure. We're just curious from their point of view.
From our perspective, it was definitely... There was always going to... Cobalt's got a very strong air force, and they always have. So they're definitely a huge challenge when we come up against them in the air. Last time they kind of roundly defeated us in the air and Ezimir, I think it's fair to say. And they gave us a really hard fight this time round.
How many guys
us a few times as well.
Did you have in the air from the start?
46.
Okay, yeah, we went a little bit more, early 50s.
So, guess now that that's done and this Hossin game's over, Miller, you guys make it to the finals. You're against Emerald in 3 weeks. How are you feeling about this? I mean, you think you've beaten them before, you can do it again, or do you think Emerald's out for blood and they're going to be like watching this game closely and then deciding how to beat you guys?
I think it's going to be a real challenge to beat Emerald. They're obviously a very good team, but I think equally, we're a very good team as well, and it's going to be a good fight. Like the last time on Hossin, they were a tough challenge.
I think last time we met them, they perhaps, I don't know, weren't necessarily expecting us to maybe go full hilt, and I think maybe caught them off a little bit complacent, a little bit off guard. But obviously, you do that once, they don't make the same mistake again. So. It's going to be a lot of fireworks in that game, I think. Yeah,
and I'm sorry to, I think it was maybe Synthesis who said that it would be Cobalt and Emerald in the final. So I kind of had to ruin that for him.
It's okay, we were screaming, Synthesis says throw more grenades during the, what was it called, House Distillery cap.
I actually called for less grenades.
Okay. Cool. Well, thanks, guys. I mean, have you got any last words before me and Maelstrom jump up again to end the match when they get stream?
I'd just like to say thank you for the game. Yeah, it was a pleasure. I know it's probably a tough one to endure, but we appreciate the match. And thanks for running the tournament, as always, PSP. Looking forward to the final.
I guess I have to say, I mean, commiserations, Cobalt. The guys have been knocked out, made it to the semi-finals, defending champs and all that. Just very glad to have you guys in the tournament and to play, and hopefully at the end of the day you guys had fun. I mean, that's the ultimate goal here, is to kind of enjoy the game, I suppose. So
yeah, well played.
Cool. Right, let's go, Mill. Alright, thanks so much, guys.
Cheers, man.
So that is that. Now we're moving on. Coming up next, right, we have one ServerSmash left.
The grand final.
The grand final. So this is our 2015 tournament final. It's going to be 3 weeks from now, on Saturday the 5th of December. It will be a 2000 UTC start. It will be Emerald versus Miller. The map, factions, all that kind of stuff is going to be decided in the next few days via process of a double coin toss, kind of map veto system. So first coin toss to veto what maps the teams don't want to play. Coin toss winner decides who gets to veto first or second, and then a second coin toss for when they pick the map, what warp gate and or faction that they pick. So basic standard systems, no one gets necessarily a preferential advantage as they did in this particular playoff. And my gut tells me it's probably going to be Amrish, and it's going to be a fight over who gets to be the NC for the Airhammer. If you couldn't be NC though, Male, who would you go?
I'd still say VS has some hint in it. Only because of Mag Riders, though. That if you can get them, and I'll explain why. If you can get them in particular places, you can do basically what the air can do, which is you can really ground pound in points and stuff like that because of the elevation that Mag Riders can get. But yeah, I'd say it's a toss-up between VS and TR. Probably VS would win it.
Okay, well, let's see. We'll find out, guys. So anyway, thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much to Cobalt and to Briggs and to Connery for taking part. And we really just hope at the end game everyone had fun. I realise that the meta has evolved and the gameplay's evolved, and it's not fun losing heavily to Emerald or Miller. And it just shows that Miller has learnt, because they used to be the whipping boys last year. And I think they've looked at, well, what are the good teams doing? How are they winning so good? And that was Emerald, who were dominant. And he said, all right, that's how we'll play. And then they've copied it, and maybe they've evolved it. Maybe do it better. We don't know. It was a shock defeat for Emerald. Perhaps they were caught off guard on Hossin, map they perhaps don't like. We'll have to see what it's like if they play Hoss again or an Emerald. I can guarantee Miller's going to veto Esimir. They're not going to play there because I don't like that. So, anyway, that being said, guys, thank you very much for watching. We'll see you in a couple of weeks for our finals on December the 5th. Try and get through your calendars, watch it. It'll be freaking awesome. I'm looking forward to it. And then, at the end of the grand final match, we'll just talk about what our future plans are, how we think we might proceed into the next year and that type of stuff. So, thank you very much for watching. Stay tuned in a couple of weeks, and we'll see you then. Goodbye.
Bye, guys.